Welcome to the pub. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Smokesteve's International Pub. Ah, very nice. Having a little bit of rum and water on the rocks. Very tasty. Good old Kraken. Hope everybody's having a good night. Microphone's all the way over there. Just came down about 7 minutes ago, so I am ill prepared. Who do we got here? We've got Derek. What up, guy? Georgie. Last Dance. And Tesla Rocks. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully, everyone has had a pleasant week. I myself was busy, but it was good. And as always, look forward to this. Unwind a little, drink a little too much, smoke a lot. You guys know the drill. And we talk shit. So, as always, I put the link down below, and I will throw it in the chat periodically. So, yeah, good to see everyone here. The news of the week seems to be the gas prices. Everyone's talking about the gas prices. Around $4.20 a gallon here, which I don't know. Probably what is that per liter? Probably a buck 20 a liter, which I think Brits are probably paying a lot more than we do because they pay by the liter, not by the gallon. So it's not gonna. If it stays under 5, it's not that bad if you have a fairly efficient vehicle. If you're driving an F350 or an F250 or hell, an old F150, you might be in tough shape. 11 miles to the gallon, 9 miles to the gallon, something like that. But whatever, it's fucking gas. Hopefully I get to go on a road trip this summer with the family. Maybe we'll go to the Outer Banks again. We might be Outer Banks people. I used to see those stickers on people's cars and go, yeah, look at this fucking hardo, Outer Banks, whatever. Now I have the damn sticker. I'm an OBX guy. I don't know what that would be comparable to in the UK, but it's a pretty bizarre place and it's pretty cool. And it also, there is wild horses, which I didn't get to see last time, but if we get the place we've been looking at this time, we may get to see a wild horse. And they do not want you to feed those fucking things because you can kill them if you feed them like apples and carrots and shit. Not good for them. Yeah, look at you. You didn't get a sticker. Uh-huh. Hey, Tom Parsons and Storm the Pitbull. Yeah, they do, George. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I know. $82, wife. Hi, wife. I say hi, even though I just saw you 5 minutes ago. Oh, you got the wild horses too, huh? That's cool, man. Definitely a dramatic thing to see a horse running around out there. Yeah, I mean, it's not inflation. If they have to pay more to deliver it, well, yeah, the prices do go up, so I guess it is inflation, but I don't know, like Chincoteague. Yeah, I've been there. That's where we stayed on our way down to the Outer Banks last time. And we did not get to see the wild horses. Although it was loaded with fucking cats. Cats everywhere. Wild or feral cats, I guess you call them. Hotel was across the street from a McDonald's, and there was a few cats walking around in the parking lot late night. It's actually something kind of fun to watch. Cats. They're just sitting in the empty parking lot, walking around. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but gave us a little entertainment when we were trying to catch a little buzz on the deck before we went to bed. But we'll plan a little better this next trip. Timing wise, traffic going through New York City, if you guys, as I'm sure you can imagine or have experienced yourself, nightmare, fucking nightmare. Adds like 3 hours to the trip. So you have to take that into account. And we shall see what happens, like I said. Yeah, right? Go ahead and pet one. Get a flea. Get the plague. Yeah. They probably just eat whatever mice and rats and shit live around the area. Who knows? I'm trying to roll up a couple nice joints here. Get myself prepped. A little show prep. It was a good show last week, everybody. Thank you for making it such. As I always say, it would suck if it wasn't for you guys. Just be me, doing nothing, smoking. And I hear from the big dog, Mr. Hayden Hewitt, that his film Lips is coming along swimmingly. I think he's in the sound phase, sound editing. I'm not quite sure. Don't ask me. Interesting. $1,000, huh? I can imagine. I don't drink. We're not milk drinkers here. We're almond milk or coconut milk people. Just kind of got away from the whole milk thing. Never really found a need for it. If you like it, if it gives you nutrition, protein, go for it. I got nothing against it. It's just not something we really go for. I mean, I'm not a fan myself. And almond milk is not milk. It should be called juice. Yeah, you too. We know Last Dance. Yeah, I mean, how does it work when the gas is under the ground at the gas station and it was already purchased last week and the prices are going up since then? Don't really know. I know it is a commodity, so there's not much you can do. $10 a gallon. Hopefully not, man. They need to get the Keystone XL going. They need to up domestic production. We need to, turn things up a little here. Saudi Arabia and the Arab countries are not the answer. Though they have the gas, the OPEC nations are they're fuckers. They want high, obviously they want it. They want to just walk the line of high gas but not reduce driving. They don't, they want to obviously maximize profits. And I think they put to death or somewhere in the vicinity of probably about 80 people today, maybe 81, for various crimes over there. What they see as crimes, murder, and other things, which probably wouldn't be considered crimes in most countries, but you're going to do, yeah, that is capitalist. You're right, Stormy. Yeah. And in the state of Massachusetts here, William Galvin is going to be investigating gas stations for price gouging. Although, how could it's not going to go anywhere. It's the secretary of the state, yeah. It's not price gouging because it's essentially market following by changing their prices. So price gouging is charging, like $20 for a case of water during a water shortage. I don't think that you could get the gas stations for that sort of a thing. That might be one of the things, George. That won't happen immediately, of course. Drill, baby, drill. Yeah, and that's obviously going to take time. But if you start it now, if this shit goes on long enough, it will make an impact in, 6 months, a year, who knows? But certainly no reason to not start it is that it will take time. That is, obviously, I know that's not what you're saying, but I've heard Jen Psaki, as well as some others in the current administration, speaking about how, the Keystone XL pipeline wouldn't be done for years, so that wouldn't help us right now. And, there's all these drilling contracts that aren't being taken advantage of. But, well, we could do a tune. Let's get some joints rolled up. I got 2. I'm going to roll one more and then play a tune. Maybe I'll try a Led Zeppelin song. Could they cancel the whole fucking thing for that? Sheesh. Maybe they could. Maybe I shouldn't. I do not know. I know she's wrong. It's, Ducey there from Fox loves going up against her, and she screws the pooch with her answers so often. And she outright lies. And even still, just domestic production, if it starts now, it's better than not starting, or not increasing, whatever, Biden, I don't know. What do you guys think about canceling the, yeah, right. What do you think about Biden canceling anything from Russia? I believe that was about 10% of our usage. So that he openly admitted that, and I think that's a good thing. He's not trying to lie to people. He said we canceled taking Russian oil, and that's going to make your gas prices go even higher. Yeah, I guess I'd say stick it to Russia. Fuck them, but I don't want gas prices to go higher in the same breath, So, cup of tea. Loves Jesse Smollett, biggest fan ever. He's got a whole shelf of all Jesse Smollett photos. I believe he's got a few autographs. I know, buddy. He'll get his freedom, and you'll be right there waiting for him. Of course, I'm completely bullshitting because and cup of tea knows that. All right. Yeah, geopolitical skirmishes and quick resolutions. Those two things don't normally go together, but George, you got hope. Jesse. Oh, no kidding, huh? You got an actor friend? Look at you with the actor friend Last Dance. All right. Cool, man. First smoke of the day right here. That's no bullshit. I don't really smoke during the day very often. Occasionally a joint on the weekends, but usually it's a night thing for me. Picked up this new hat today. I like it. Stars and Bars. That's nice. And I also mounted this new light up here, but unfortunately when I'm wearing a baseball cap, it kind of puts a shadow across my face, which I don't really like. So we'll just go with the old ghetto light. Seems good enough. In case you guys didn't know, and I know most of you do, but Friday night, our boy Random Goon hosts a really good guitar show on Twitch on his channel, Random Goon. We had a lot of fun last night, making requests, drinking, talking shit. It was great. It's always a fun time. Twitch has a lot of great musical acts. I was taken aback by some of the people I found last night. Really, really talented. Cook County Correctional Facility, I believe, is where Smollett will be going. And they'll probably keep him pretty safe in there, I would think. I feel like it was so long ago that the whole thing actually went down with him. That it's hard for me to even recall. Were there 2 Nigerian bodybuilders involved? That's funny. Empire. Nicely done. Yeah, I know. I've heard of Cook County. That's why I think they're going to probably keep them separate. Keep them separated. Oh man, this is. Yeah. Because if something happens to him in jail, he'll fucking sue the fuck out of everybody and probably win. So they know that. No place to point my joint down, so maybe I'll have to finish it before I play a song. Gonna try up here. Looks good. Shania Twain. Shania Twain cover band called Shania Twin. Used to play in the town I lived in Vermont. I always thought that was funny. Pretty good name. except for that buzzing on the G string on the 12th fret. Thanks, George. Put those on for no good reason because there's nobody on here. So I'll just put them like that. That doesn't look funny at all. Here's a good screenshot for you. I know Aphid loves goofy screenshots. Help yourself. I never heard that song, and I don't really even know who George Formby is, bro. So I apologize for my ignorance. She was here last week. You saw her, right? Tom, the German lady, was here last week. Tesla, you might have been out buying groceries when she came in. No shit, I'm not kidding. You said, I'm going to go grab groceries, and then she showed up, and then she was gone when you got back. Graham, and he's working for Hayden as his sound man. Sorry. Biscuit Face. He's popped on about 2 weeks ago. He's all right. In fact, I believe he's doing quite well personally, so I'm happy for him. And Aphid Lip, he will be here tonight, I think. He usually is. He usually lets me know if he's not going to be here. Let's check the DMs. Wrong place. Nothing. We're clear. Dude should be here at some point. Wait a second. Oh, I got a retweet. Nice. Thanks, bro. My brother. He's my brother. Biscuit. Regardless. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Marty. What's up, guy? How are you?
Jesus, this thing's smoking. Who's that over there? Good to have you, Martin. Yeah, sometimes after I end the show, if we're doing an after show thing where everyone's still bullshitting, I can't let anyone back in. It's over. I'm also usually kind of hammered by then, so try not to hit that button again, buddy. And I'll just leave it open after the show. If people want to stick around, that's totally cool, man. And next week, it's daylight savings here in the United States. So, is it also the start of British summertime? Brits, if you can help me out, cup of tea. Martin, is next week the start of BST? Or wait, I'm sorry, not next week. Tonight it starts for us. So, yeah, next week's pub will be, I don't know, is there going to be a difference in time for us? Or are we both switching at the same time? No kidding, huh? 20%. Didn't know that. I'd have to fact check that myself, but I don't doubt you, cup of tea. You seem like a pretty fairly fact-based sort of feller. Oh, cool. You got a bad cough? Yeah. Yeah. There's other things besides COVID. Remember the old common cold? Let's say, everyone had so much COVID hysteria. People just forget that you can just normally get a cold. Still see a lot of people with the masks on around here. I don't give a fuck what they do. I'm not wearing one currently. Yeah, I don't ban. I only really ban people who come in here with porn. Though I did ignore Anna for a while there, which I don't know. I was trying the ignore thing and it didn't work. It was totally backfired. So just decided everyone's welcome. And if anyone fucks up hugely, then I'll maybe have the ban hammer. But for the most part, it's all good. I'm pretty laid back. Just no porn. This is not my channel, so I don't want to fuck up, Hayden's shit. But he probably wouldn't care anyways. I think he's happy to just see us all getting together, carrying on the pub that he started back when this was called the Lockdown Pub. And it was started during the lockdown, the first one in the UK. And they were paying everybody to stay home, I guess, right? As crazy as that is. What's a CME, Tesla? I could look it up, but I don't want to get distracted. I'm sure I'll know what it is once you say it. Keep this hat straight. I naturally tilt my hat to the side. Yeah, that's square. It's good. Yeah, the Lockdown Pub was helpful. I really enjoyed it myself. And, excuse me, solar flare. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Mass ejection. Interesting. Yeah, they tried to do it every night, and they were drinking a lot. I tried to join in every night. It's hard to believe that would have been over 2 years ago, right? Or was it exactly? Was it March 29th, 2020, right? When it would have been going on, I guess. Crazy, man. Fucking crazy. Yeah, that whole fucking bird thing, dude. I don't know what that was. Certainly bizarre. And there's this fucking hysteria about parachuting spiders. I don't know. 2 years, huh, Tom? Unreal, man. Tom, so when do you switch to British summertime? Let me know. I think you're probably up on that. The chat on those vids. Yeah, you can probably still. I think everything is still on the internet unless they deleted some of it or YouTube did. Oh, the 27th. No kidding, huh? Damn. So we're going to have a couple weeks here where I'm going to be starting what's seemingly going to be 6 o'clock here, but it'll be, I believe, 10 o'clock there instead of 11. So just keep that in your calendars. Be an hour earlier until you switch to British summertime after tonight. You hate spiders and snakes, but that ain't what it takes. I hear you. I don't really have any fears of too many animals besides big giant ones that could kill me, or I suppose a poisonous snake. Yeah, that would be not something I would want to tangle with, as they say. Let's see here. When you have the mouse pad, there's actually a lot of shit you can do with just pressing different parts of it, which I never realized until I started fucking around with it. And I'm going to just go ahead and throw this in the chat, as I usually do around a half hour in, just to let people know. Of course, they're welcome. Last Sunday in March, last Sunday in October. Good, nice and easy to remember. Cool. I like it, man. It's always on a Sunday. Interesting. Very cool. Hello, Lee.
Hello. Hiya. Cheers.
How you doing, man? Cheers.
Good. What's your poison tonight then?
This would be dark rum with
yeah,
mixed with just a little water on the rocks. Very nice.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hiya.
Yeah.
Good.
Yourself? What are you having? Some red wine?
No, this is vodka and Pepsi Max.
No rocks?
No, I don't get on with ice, so I just don't get on with it. So, yeah.
So what do you go from the fridge and then that's good enough?
Yep. Sure is.
Interesting. You don't like ice, huh?
I get in a lot of feedback as I can hear myself. Is that my end or?
Yeah, you might have the StreamYard tab as well as a YouTube tab.
Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of that. You're right. Yeah. Get it now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Hey, nice cap, by the way. Yeah, that's nice.
Thanks,
who's the picture in the background then? Who's that?
Cosmo Kramer, Jason Alexander. No, what's his name? Michael Richards from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Kramer. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, the other thing is, you're talking about the energy before and costs going up.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I was only reading today. That I don't think Biden's prepared to do this, which is Russia supplies, quite a few countries actually, but quite a bit, United States, sells them plutonium, which helps your power stations run.
Huh.
I only found that out today. So you can understand why he's probably a bit reluctant to not stop buying that.
Yeah,
that
of
could
course.
cause major problems. But do you know what? I never knew that. He supplies it to China as well as Iran as well. So, thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that myself.
Nor me. No.
That's crazy, man. And this is verified.
Yeah, absolutely true fact. But I think he's debating about whether he should stop buying it. But it could hurt you as much as it could hurt him. So,
right.
So they're not sure really what to do. I think from what I was reading, the US buy an amount every 12 to 16 months because obviously it lasts quite a while.
Yeah.
So initially it might not hurt, but if it carries on, then and they're going to have sanctions on them for a long time, then it could hurt the US not to be able to buy it. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I never knew that.
Yeah, and Chernobyl, of course, it's still actively cooling down the shit that melted down how many years ago. I didn't realize that it was still active, and the generators have to stay going to keep more radioactive leaks from occurring.
Yeah, Jesus. It's encased in a whole concrete dome, isn't it, for the next 100 years or whatever. But right. I do remember that. I remember that happening, and I remember there was a lot of with land sales, sheep, because it was sort of blowing the winds across sort of a lot of Scotland, maybe in Wales, where a lot of sheep farmers are, and
Right.
they were getting very worried about the radioactive levels. Sheep eating the grass, and then we're eating them, and
Yeah.
but it seemed to be okay. Well, they told us it was okay. So,
Right.
sales carried on, but yeah, I remember that well. Yeah,
Glow in the dark sweaters.
exactly. Yeah, bloody hell. So.
Let me grab another dude here.
Yeah.
There he is. Last Dance.
Hey, good evening, guys. Good evening, Lee. Good evening,
Good
Smokesteve.
evening. How are you?
What's
All
up,
right.
buddy? Good.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
plutonium. I can't imagine why we would be buying plutonium
Yeah, I thought it was
From-
strange.
the Soviet Union or from Russia because it's not something that you get out of nature. It's something you make in a nuclear
Yeah.
reactor, and we can make all the plutonium we want. The only reason I think we would be buying it is to I guess keep them from having it. I can't imagine why else we would be.
So
Maybe
is
fine.
plutonium just refined uranium, or is it?
No, it's not. It's a different element, and it's generated in can be generated in a nuclear reactor. There's a design of a reactor called a breeder reactor that, as it goes, it generates plutonium, which it can then be used to power it. So it's like a perpetual energy machine of sorts.
So is the initial plutonium mined from the Earth?
No, I think it's all
Right.
manufactured
Okay.
from. I don't know how it's done. I think uranium. Well, I'm not sure exactly what the chemical reaction is or the nuclear reaction, but it starts out with U-235,
Which is uranium.
which is the fissile uranium,
Okay.
the bomb grade stuff that's used in nuclear reactors.
So essentially, the thing they do is they mine your uranium, basic uranium, right?
Right.
And then from there, it's many steps to get to.
Right. Mostly uranium is in nature is mostly U-238, and by a process of refinement, the U-235 is extracted out. And for nuclear reactors, it's usually 5 to 10% pure. For nuclear weapons, it's like 80% pure and above. They don't actually say the exact number you need. I guess they don't want us trying experiments to see where that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some process in a nuclear reactor where they can produce it. I think the first plutonium that was produced for the very first bomb that was exploded in a tower in New Mexico, the Trinity bomb. I think that was made in a device called a cyclotron, with uranium being U-235 being bombarded. I'm not exactly sure of the process, but
Right.
Was Trinity the first sort of one that you set off?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
set
it
off in the New Mexico desert.
That's right. Yeah, I remember reading about that. Yeah, and how all the sand turned to glass because of the heat.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a plutonium bomb.
Right.
And the first one that was dropped was a uranium bomb. That was little. What was that called? Little Boy.
Fat Man and Little Boy
Fat
Yeah.
Man was the plutonium bomb. That was the second one
on
Right.
Nagasaki.
on Nagasaki. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So they both had varying. I mean, I guess the one in Hiroshima was more devastating, more deadly. Is that correct?
It killed more people, but the one in Nagasaki was more powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
From what you guys know, I mean, I've heard two different sides to the argument whether that it was necessary or not necessary to the end the war with Japan by using them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people I've heard say that it was the firebombing of Tokyo with incendiary devices that had sealed the deal in some people's minds, and that had killed a lot more people.
Yeah, I mean, it's those in probably in today's calculus, those would all of those, including the firebombing, would be considered war crimes of the highest caliber. I do suspect that the A bombs, did shorten the war and force them to surrender.
Right.
Yeah, I think so, most definitely. Yeah.
The real question is, could they have done a demonstration? Could they have done something less than incinerating cities to get the point across? And I think
Yeah.
we'll never know. I suspect that they could have.
Yeah,
Because
I don't know how true it is, but I've watched a couple of documentaries of which the reason the second one was dropped because the Emperor of Japan just didn't believe that there was something that powerful that could destroy a whole city. And I think the Americans went out to prove, right,
Well,
we'll drop a second one then if you don't believe that, it's possible.
Yeah, they should have waited a little more. There wasn't an internet back in 1945, so it might have taken a little more time, especially when dropping an A bomb destroys all the communications infrastructure. It might have taken more than a few days to communicate the devastation, but they waited 3 days and dropped the second one.
It's a vivid story. I remember when he was alive. My grandfather served in World War II and was out. It was captured actually out in Burma, and then the bombs dropped, and he says thank God because he thinks he would have died otherwise because it brought an end to the war. So they were released as prisoners and to make their way back home, sort of thing, But he was very grateful of it because he just didn't think he was going to get out of Burma if that hadn't happened. So
they were very brutal to the prisoners of war.
The Japanese were terrible with their prisoners of war.
Yeah, absolutely.
My uncle was held by the Nazis for a year in a stalag as a prisoner of war. As a nose gunner on a B-17, got shot.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Well, that's gotta be a terrifying job. Huh? You're just sitting there.
Yeah. I mean,
watching the bullets, got nothing to do but fire the gun. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, your B-17 were a lot bigger than. I mean, we had a big plane called the Lancaster, which had the bubble in the back of the tail where the gunner sat, to protect the back of the plane. But awful job because a lot of the people, those men got killed because
of course
you could, as much as you. I went to a museum to see one, and they got one in Manchester, the whole Lancaster there, and as much as the gunner can go up and down, but not a huge degree. There's not a big angle there, left and right, just slightly. So anything that's coming directly down or directly up, you just haven't got a chance, And they're keen to take them out because they're a danger to them, of course, if they're attacking the plane. So
of course,
yeah. The other thing that was really strange, something I really noticed as well, is just the. I don't know whether people were smaller in those days, but the size of it, you'd have to be a pretty small guy to get into these little pods. That's for sure.
I can imagine. Yeah.
They were tiny. They really were.
Yeah.
Not a job I would have wanted.
No. Yeah, I don't know exactly how my uncle got that side of it, but that's what he chose. And crazy, man. They had gotten all shot up in the plane. Went into a nosedive, so naturally all of the shit in the plane and the shell casings fell on top of my uncle because he's a nose gunner, and he had to climb up the plane as the pilot leveled it out, and through all of that shit he had pulled his parachute cord inside the plane. So when he got to the edge, he says he's pretty sure that someone pushed him out because he didn't realized he didn't have a parachute cord. He kind of started to panic. They pushed him out, and then boom, his chute opened. Yeah.
Wow.
Then, they have pretty good jackets on because they're so cold up there. But the footwear, apparently, they had some kind of flight slippers to keep their feet warm. And there was snow on the ground, and it was not good. Yeah. And then, of course, they want to get captured by the Germans because if the people in the villages or the towns, the farmers find you, they'll go after you with pitchforks and whatever shotguns and rifles they have and try to kill you.
Hell.
Yeah.
Wow. Seriously. Gosh.
Yeah. Not so.
Yeah.
But
wow. I'm quite shocked by that because I would have thought they would have just kept out of it and, but wow.
Because to them, apparently they felt like they were bombing them, their houses, their towns. So at that point it was. But just to point as to what you said about your grandfather being in Burma, one of the Nazi soldiers was going to steal my Uncle Zippo. And the commander of the squad slapped the soldier and admonished him and gave the lighter back to my uncle and said, "We don't steal from these men. They're soldiers like us. They're our prisoners, but we don't steal from them."
Yeah.
But there was some psychological torture and starvation and shit like that, but they didn't do anything like, I believe, what the Japanese did to a lot of guys. So it was crazy, man.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, from what I can gather, I think the Japanese basically just worked them to death, didn't they? For any project they were on. Terrible, absolutely terrible. So,
me not being a movie guy, I never saw. Is it Unbroken? Was that the name of it? About the guy who was a prisoner of war, who lasted through all the torture. I know there's a famous scene where he's like holding a log over his shoulders. It wasn't more than 10 or 15 years ago. Maybe
I've not seen that.
Me neither.
Of course, there's Bridge over the River Kwai. I'm sure you guys have seen that.
Yeah,
That's
seen that. Yeah.
That's a good one. They blow it up. Exactly.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin. Is it Alec Baldwin? No, forget what the actor is.
Bridge over the River Kwai was old.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, not Alec Baldwin. No, who's the other guy?
Alec Guinness, maybe?
Alec Guinness, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Miles out, but that's right, Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness, he's the proper Brit, right? He was the commander. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Far cry from our Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Piece of shit that he is.
Right. They're
What's happening? What's
stuff
happening with him? What's happening with him?
He's being sued, I believe, by the dead woman's family.
Yeah. Hard to know what to make about that. I mean, what's your feed? Do you think he should be blamed for that, or strange?
I actually don't know the details enough to know.
Yeah. I felt very sorry for him. I'm sure he didn't intend to go out and kill somebody.
It's hard to believe he should be blamed, but a lot of people on this pub have said that he should have checked it first or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, even still, he could have checked it and not identified exactly what was in there. That is literally the job of a person that they pay damn good money for, that puts the gun in his hand.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like she should be fucking charged, maybe more
or sued for
or
sure,
sued or something. I mean, yeah, and of course the rule of firearms is, you are the one who's holding the gun, therefore it's all on you. But in the case of shooting a movie, when there's somebody who's paid to set it up for the scene and she gives it to you, it's. I think it takes some of the responsibility away from him, the culpability, and puts it on her.
Yeah. But I mean, he would need to have at least minimal training to even know the difference between a blank and a real bullet. I mean, he might not. He's a Hollywood liberal. He's probably never shot a real gun in his life. So
aside from movies, which he has, we know. I mean, The Hunt for Red October, he had some pistol work in that, as well as some other stuff, I'm sure. But
great movie that. I love that.
Awesome.
Movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As well as, you wouldn't have thought it, but Crimson Tide, also a great submarine movie.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Awesome. I loved in it was The Hunt for Red October, right? The black dude who was listening to he was the headphone man, the sonar
That's
guy.
right. Yeah.
And he figured out like the Caterpillar drive or something on the sub. He could tell there was like an unusual hum, and I just thought that was so fascinating. Even though the technology was so rudimentary back then, it was still, and it holds over to today. It's still a very good movie. Both of them great sub movies.
I worked for a guy for a short time who was prior to that he was a submariner.
Cool. Any sub stories from him? Anything?
No, which he didn't really say much. But I did know him through Department of Defense connections, so I certainly believe that he was who he said he was.
Yeah, between working in a submarine and working as a nose gunner in a B-17, I think those two, or a tank, those three things I would not want to be in the military. Playing underwater or in a fucking steel pill, basically, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Would you rather be in the tank or would you rather be walking beside
Uh,
it?
I don't know. Maybe I'd be good in the mess hall. Make a dinner.
Chef.
Yeah, exactly. Chef Smoke, you know what I mean?
You're exactly.
But although those guys definitely have to keep their M16s nearby, I mean, they're still soldiers.
Yeah,
You know?
they are.
Um,
Well, it looks like we
there's-
lost Lee.
He just jumped. I think, I don't know, he might have hit a button or
Yeah.
who knows. Slow night here. I wonder where the fellers are.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Can't have the same crowd every night.
This is true. I think Aphid was excited for it, so
Well, that's right. Aphid's usually on by now.
usually.
Yeah.
John Grammaticus says wouldn't have happened with an AR-15. The movie scene? Maybe it,
Or maybe he's thinking about the accident that happened on the set that dealt with Baldwin.
hey, buddy. Yeah, he probably.
I'm having problems with the internet tonight, but yeah.
Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on?
Yeah. But I mean, generally, it's always fantastic. But tonight, there seems to be it's cut out a couple of times, so I don't know if there's a problem in the area.
Do you have,
Did you?
are you on a laptop, real quick?
Yeah, I'm on a laptop. Yeah.
Oh, you got to get a little Cat 7 cable to run from your router to
Yeah.
your.
I think you were talking about that last week. Actually, I was thinking, oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I think I might invest in one of those.
They're cheap money, and even if you're just fucking around online, it's 2 to 3 times faster than Wi-Fi.
Faster.
Yeah.
Right. Talking about have you seen Des Boot?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good stuff. That's intense. That
I was
film.
just going to say, that is so intense, though. It's like,
like
you don't take a breath for the entire movie.
Now, why is that movie so polarizing? It's either absolute hate or absolute love that I've found for that.
Wow. Oh, really?
Well, I think some people believe, I don't think correctly, that it glorifies Nazi submariners. I didn't think that was the point of the movie in any way.
No.
I thought it was slow. Some people think it's devoid of any
Well,
real drama,
there's-
action.
I
that
think
sort of thing.
it really immerses you in the fact that, I mean, I suppose it's World War II, so the technology isn't like watching a Red October or anything like that. But so the grime, the noise of being in this sub, which is so claustrophobic, the fear element of they're being trapped and they're trying to bomb them out to sea.
They're being chased, and they're
I mean-
always on the knife's edge of getting blown up, and
Too right.
having 100 billion tons of ocean crush them.
That whole scene when they try to go, they take the submarine to its absolute limit in terms of depth to get away from the depth charge, and just the creaking and the sweat running down their face. You just feel it all. You're just so immersed in it. You're like, oh my God, there's no way I'd want to be in there. It's just so frightening. I think it's one of the best sub movies that are out there in terms of, getting involved in it and really feeling for them. All right, I know they're Germans, but it's pretty intense, as I said. Really worth watching.
Yep. It was for me, it was not boring. It was just the opposite. It was extremely intense.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I'm not sure what John Grammaticus is talking about here.
Gambler in Phoenix Nights was class. I'm not sure what that is either.
I'm trying to think. Well, does he mean Boogie Nights or something else? Phoenix Nights. I don't know what that is, but I can't remember a Das Boot Gambler in anything nights, blank nights anywhere. You think of Das Boot Gambler. I don't know. I'm missing it, Johnny. You might have
Maybe
to
maybe
clarify.
the same actor. I don't know. I doubt it. They were all German actors.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe Phoenix Nights is a really old movie. I don't know. Can't imagine dying that way. Interesting, Tom. Yeah, I'm gonna truthfully, I've never seen it. Oh, it's a UK TV show.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I know what he's talking about, but I don't know the actor he's referring to. But yeah, it's a famous comedian in the UK. He has his TV series called Phoenix Nights, which he owns. I think he owns a nightclub, comedy club. So it's based around that. So yeah, but I'm not sure which actor he's referring to. I do know I do know that program though.
Okay. Larry and Creature. Good to see you again, buddy. Cool. Nice comment.
That brings back memories. When I was a kid, there was a TV show on at night. It showed movies. I think it was on Saturday nights, and the series was called Creature Features, and it was always some horror movie, some cheesy horror movie, which at that age scared the hell out of me every time.
Right. Wasn't there one like Attack of the Giant Tomatoes or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that one as an adult though, not as a kid.
I was a kid for that one.
Attack of the Killer Tomato, wasn't it?
Killer Tomatoes, yeah. They still had it when I was a kid, and that's what they showed was like shit like that. Or what was the one with the thing that lived underwater and terrorized the boat?
Creatures of the Black Lagoon.
Something like that, right?
But it could have been that could have been any number of movies that were very similar.
Swamp Thing, right?
Swamp could be, yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I loved all that old shit. Very fun.
I think the one that scared me the most, I think the movie title was Horrors of the Black Museum.
Yeah, I mean,
very terrifying for someone who was 12 years old.
Back in a second.
And white. Oh wait, what? When they said Black Museum, they didn't mean Black Museum.
No, it was. I don't know why it was called. It was like black as in death.
Oh, like the old days of evil, black,
exactly,
good, white. Which some people point to as obviously racist in our society, but
right before people even had that thought in their minds.
Exactly. I think it probably obviously goes back to good and evil, like God and angels and baby, white and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hi there.
They had one. I remember one horrible. There was like 3 little scenes where there were the horrors, and one of them was someone sent this person a pair of binoculars, and it said something like, here's the instructions, and you put them, look to what you want to and push this button. And so they put them up and they pushed the button and 2 knives shot out, stabbed them in the eye. And I just, that was a nightmare for me for like weeks after that.
Oh my God.
Do you remember the movies with the ball that like flew around and it had knives?
Oh yeah, I sure do. Phantasm.
Yeah. Phantasm, yeah.
That was, I was not expecting that to be as interesting as it was when I saw it.
So odd, but yeah,
it was
interesting.
The old guy with the bald head, I don't know, he's Undertaker or something. He was just such a
I actually watched that about 5 weeks ago for the very first time. Yeah. Because it was like a cult horror. I thought, I should invest some time and watch it, and I did it. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. And I think they went on to make like another 3 or 4 of them as well, didn't they?
I never saw any of the others. I just saw that one.
No, I've only watched the first one. On a Saturday night, very late 70s, early 80s here, used to have, I don't know if they ever broadcast them there. There was Hammer Horrors, which were made by Hammer Studios. So these were like on BBC One late on a Saturday night, usually after Starsky and Hutch, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And then they would usually always a Hammer Horror on. And I used to stay with my auntie sometimes. I was allowed to stay up and watch it. And I mean, you look at them now, you laugh. They're comedies almost. But at the time, I always remember my auntie putting a pillow to her head because she didn't want to see the gruesome scene. She used to get quite scared by them. But I loved them as a kid. I found it really exciting. I was allowed to stay up and watch them. It was brilliant.
Yeah, Cup of Tea remembers. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Good times.
Yeah,
Back when your parents were at home having gin and tonics and
yeah, more than likely, absolutely. Yeah, Auntie stepped in to look after us. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's still done to this day. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll do it with our daughter now as well. Yeah, off she goes to grandma if we want a night out. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. What's it like over there now? Or is it all freely? Masks are off?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying earlier, there's still some people walking around with them, but not very few now, very few and far between.
How about like elementary grade schools, high schoolers,
Yeah,
public school?
yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Yeah, they
No
don't have to wear the
masks.
mask. No, no. So they're all pretty free now. Yeah. So it's almost like it's gone away completely. The fact that the media and news, the war's taken over, and everybody's sort of forgotten about COVID completely. And yeah, it's strange because the rates are going through the roof again, but there's hardly any hospitalizations. So it's kind of like getting the flu now. Don't get me wrong. There's still some people that get it pretty bad, but I think generally those are people that are pretty old and they've got quite a few underlying problems.
Right.
So
Yeah, but I mean, people. There were always bad flu seasons. People got sick from the flu and died, but it never made the national news, and nobody had a count of every person that died in your local,
exactly
local county or your parish, wherever you call it.
Yeah, in this state here, they just took 4,000 COVID deaths off the books because they realized the metrics for measuring a COVID death were almost anyone that died within 30 days of being diagnosed with COVID-19 was going on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously excluding like murder or accident, but all other, hospital or disease related deaths were attributed to COVID. So they took, it ended up being 15% of the state's deaths, which was 24,000 or so. So it went down under 20,000.
It's very similar here. The government released a document that were just pure COVID deaths, nothing else related. And very similar figures came right down. They didn't publicize it, by the way. It's something you had to find out. Some people came across it, and it sort of spread like wildfire. But no news channels were broadcasting it, which is interesting. And it is an official government document. You can go onto the UK government website, and they explain it all. So I just thought, that's interesting. You're not bringing it to anyone's attention, but hey ho. So
I mean, a lot of people suspected that. People distrusted the numbers. From the get-go.
But it's funny. Just one little side note. My daughter went to see. She's just turned 18 actually, beginning of last week. But she went to see the new Spider-Man movie. And so, typical teen comes home. How was the movie? It's great, Dad. You got to see it. It's a brilliant movie. She said, but the amazing thing was, I thought, gosh, she hasn't really experienced this, you see. She said, the cinema was full. It was a great atmosphere. It was absolutely packed. And I just thought, wow, yeah, she's not actually experienced that in her lifetime up until now. And that was pretty hard hitting. I just thought, the things she's been missing out on in the last couple of years.
Right.
And she just thought it was amazing that the cinema was full.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Like she's never. Hopefully, she gets to go as she gets older to a few concerts. I don't care if they're K-pop or boy bands. When you're in a crowd and everyone's fucking
absolutely.
That's a real experience.
It's so fun when you're a kid, man. It's killer. I mean, there's no drugs, there's no alcohol, but there's still a cool party going on, and that's formative, I think, for teens, early teen years. And of course, as they get older, what's happening. There's that innocent transition time when they're like sub-adults, but they still get to have a little freedom.
That's interesting. Then, so if you're at like a pop concert, is there no alcohol sales?
No, I just meant more for the kids.
Oh yeah, okay, ones. Right, yeah. Just wondering. So
there is, but honestly, the times I went to concerts, if I wasn't sneaking it in, I found it too tedious to stand in line. I would just get weed in and smoke weed and listen to music, But walking away, getting beers, and then you're trying to carry 2 beers back for yourself, and it's a shit show.
It really is. It really is.
I remember when I went to the concerts when I was younger. I never left my seat once I got to it.
Yeah.
That's right. You don't want to get a huge buzz and then go into the show and stop drinking. So it's like, I'd rather just go in with good on energy and just, enjoy the music and then, get shit-faced
Yeah,
after.
I think I pitched in my seat as well because I'd be with my mates and I'd just be a bit afraid whether I was going to find them if I went off and
Right,
came
yeah.
back. It's like,
This is true,
it's,
man.
like, it's this huge area and it's dark and everything else. You know, you're like, "Oh, I think I'll just stay in my seat, yeah,
Yeah.
and enjoy it. So,
Yeah, I remember some concert footage from Wembley Stadium that's what
Yeah.
London, right?
yeah, yeah.
That place, like the audience just looked like it went on for miles away from the stage.
Yeah.
Is it true? Is it that big? Is it like
Well, when are you going back to, Steve? Are you going back
Like,
a good few years?
to the 80s, like Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses, Paradise for
Yeah.
Paradise City on Appetite for
So
Destruction?
if it was in the actual state, because you had like around the stadium, you had like arenas.
Okay.
So and they could probably hold about 10,000 people. But if you're in the actual stadium, I reckon, including therefore the pitch,
Yeah,
you'd
the
probably,
field.
you'd be probably looking at 100,000 people.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's huge because that actual Wembley State is gone now. They knocked it down and they've built a new one. So it was famous for its two twin towers. It was an icon, you know, that you would see and oh yeah, that's definitely Wembley.
And now is that where Arsenal played?
No, Arsenal play in a separate stadium in London called the Emirates.
Okay.
I forget what it was called before because they sponsor the names, don't they? And the name changes. So, but they were never actually based at Wembley. Was only ever used for if it was like cup finals or it was international matches. Each club had their own stadium. So
interesting. Yep. Yeah, around here we used to have the Boston Garden, and I think it's the TD Bank North Garden now, which is such a letdown.
right.
Yeah, I know.
We had a cool place called Great Woods. It was west of the city. I think it's called, I don't know what it is, but it was the Tweeter Center, and I don't even know. I think Tweeter is gone. Whatever the hell Tweeter was like a Radio Shack type store. And it's just,
what was the stadium? Do you remember Live Aid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was at Wembley, and then obviously we were then getting the transmission from the States when your artists were performing. What stadium? That looked like a huge stadium.
That was outside, right?
Yeah. Was it Philadelphia? Would it have been Philadelphia?
It sounds. I remember Philly sounds right.
Yeah.
Could it have been Veterans Stadium back then?
It might have been. That sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had Phil Collins flew from like
that's right.
the UK to the US in a Concorde.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking Phil Collins, jet setter, fucking nerd, but the guy was doing it, man. People loved him, and I still don't get it. I don't know. But I never liked any of his music, but
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad.
I mean,
I wouldn't say that I'm a big fan, but there's a good few songs that he's released that I think are pretty good.
More Genesis or more after? Like
I'm talking about Genesis.
Yeah,
Genesis.
more Genesis. Yeah, definitely.
Like Land of Confusion, some of the real old stuff. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I still think he's a little on the boring side, but
yeah, he did. I saw a clip of him doing a concert a few weeks back. And my God, I think he's not well because he was just sat on a seat on a stage.
Yeah,
singing
I know. I've heard.
Yeah.
I read about that. Somebody said I saw him 2 years ago. He looked exactly the same and sounded great then as well now. And apparently he has a spinal cord issue. A disc is out of place that they can't fix.
Right.
He can't play drums anymore, but apparently his health is not as bad as it looks comparatively.
Right. Yeah, because he just looked like a little old man sat on the stage. He really does. I was quite shocked. Just like, poor Phil.
Yeah, he can't play the drums anymore, unfortunately, because of his physical issues. But yeah, he's still doing it. And
he is. Yeah.
He's probably worth God only knows how much. A lot of fucking dough, man.
Yeah.
So more power to him. If someone's going to throw out what his tickets still, I'm sure, are hundreds of dollars per seat per night. So people pay, go for him,
Yeah. Yeah, too right.
He's 82 or 72. I can't remember. One of he's
probably more 72. I'd have thought.
72.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say about that. That'd be all right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, one of the best concerts I ever went to in Wembley was your guy was Prince in
Oh, yeah.
'88, and wow, that was entertainment. My goodness me, what an amazing concert that was! Incredible. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that
Did
was
he play a lot of guitar?
Yeah, I think it was the Love Sexy tour,
Oh.
and yeah, it was just my mate was like really into him. In fact, I got into him after that, and I mean, I remember Purple Rain, the film and stuff.
Yeah.
And I watched that and enjoyed that, and I liked that album, but I never sort of then followed through buying other albums. But then I went to that tour, and I was like, God, this. I mean, I knew he could play, but I mean, watching him live, and I mean, we were very lucky because we had really good seats. So we were right at the front, and I was just like, my jaw just dropped to the ground. I was like, man, and he was good at playing the blues as well. There was like a blues section in this, just fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
blew
he's
me
good.
away.
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna grab some alcohol here in 2 seconds, but
Good idea. I think I'm going to go and get a refill as well.
is that true?
Michael Jackson died not of fentanyl, but of that. What's
Propanol.
that?
Propanol.
Propofol.
That's it.
Propofol. Yeah.
A prescription
Although,
for it, which his doctor probably should have gotten some time for giving the fucking guy so much of that shit.
Didn't
right?
Didn't he get convicted?
I don't know if he actually got time though.
Oh, time. Yeah, I don't know about that. I hope he did, because that is just so outrageous to
Oh yeah.
give someone propofol in their home and walk away.
Yeah. From my understanding, it's what they give to people who are going to have minor surgeries.
I've had it
Is
a
it
couple
really?
times
Bloody hell.
for colonoscopies.
Yeah.
It puts you on. It puts you out. That's what it
Right.
does.
It doesn't. It's not like full on anesthesiologist, but it's pretty close, right? I mean,
Well, I had it given to me by an anesthesiologist.
damn, no kidding, huh?
Yeah.
It's that serious. Unreal. George is on the case. Hey, George, join us if you would, buddy. I'm gonna go.
I'm just going to get a drink.
Grab a drink.
I got to hold the place down. I'll interview myself. That ought to get everybody.
Do you want
everybody
to
out
wait
of
for
here.
Lee to come back, or just both go and get it done with? Come back?
Get it done.
All right, on my way.
So, Mr. Last Dance, what have you been up to this week? Anything major?
No, I don't do anything. I try to keep my weeks free of anything major.
Are you retired?
I'm retired, and I
Yeah.
try to keep a quiet, boring life where I don't.
What did you do, if you don't mind me asking? What was your career?
Yeah, I worked for the department. I was a civilian in the Department of Defense, working.
Did you?
Yes,
Yeah. Wow.
and worked in some interesting stuff. I'm not going to say everything I
can't say.
did, but
Yeah.
it was.
Can you
For the
mention
most-
one thing that was interesting? Are you allowed to?
No, not one
No?
thing. If it's interesting, I really can't talk
Yeah, I
about
guess
it.
you can't. Yeah.
But I did get to travel to your country several times to work
Yeah.
with some of your people, and
Were they good?
they were very good.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
we work very closely
Yeah.
with them. So it was, it wasn't. I won't say that my entire career was it's exciting, but looking back on it, I think I was very lucky to be able to work on some
Yeah.
very interesting stuff, and most of the time it didn't seem like work.
Yeah. That's
So-
great. Well, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. If you're in
Yeah.
a job where it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. Fantastic.
I might still be working there, but my wife got sick, and I had the opportunity to retire, and so
Yeah.
the timing was good. So I said, "I'll
Is she okay?
No, she passed away
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
a
Sorry
few
to
years
hear
ago. 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years, almost today.
that. Wow.
But it was very convenient
Yeah.
that I could retire right then, and so I did, and I got to
Yeah.
spend the last 2 years with her full time, and I'm very glad that I did that.
Yeah. Too right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I was surprised to find that, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, that just not working lowers my stress level to a tremendous amount.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think sometimes we realise just how stressed we are when we are. You're just in amongst it all, so you don't really.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, what do I know? Sometimes I get my mind. I feel like I'm clear-headed at work when I'm in the work, and then I don't. You're right. You don't realize it until you get home and sit down, and you're like, "Fuck, that was a shitty day." But when you're in the moment, you're like, kind of like consumed with it. So you just. It seems great. Like I'm always saying, yeah, more work. I want it. I'm like, keep, feed me. I'm like the plant at work that can't eat enough. But when you get home after that type of shit, you definitely realize that it is a little more intense than you realize at the time.
I always feel, I don't know if you ever suffer from this, but when it comes to holidays, obviously like your main holidays come the summertime. And my wife always reminds me that for the first, I'd say 2 days of the holiday, I'm not well. It's because all of a sudden I've just stopped. And I just don't feel good and I feel a bit down. And I think it is just the fact that you've just stopped all of a sudden. You don't have to rush here. You don't have to go there, this, that, and the other. And I think your body takes a little bit of time to adjust to it. And it might not be something you suffer from, but I certainly do. It's just, like I say, it's just
we took all kinds of vacations when we were, we went to Disney World and went to the, visit California, vacations that were filled with stuff. And we also started taking vacations where we just rent a room or a cottage on the beach, bring a bunch of trashy novels, and just sit there all day on the beach and read. And I found those to be by far the most relaxing vacations I had.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just doing nothing, absorbing the rays, reading a book. Very, very, very relaxing.
It's something I want to know, right? Just going back to you saying about your work. I know you can't really talk about it, but the way that it's looked at here, that the UK has this what we call the special relationship with the US. Is it kind of? Do you see it the same way? Is it even talked about that way in the States? Because it's the one thing that I suppose to a certain degree we're quite sort of proud of in a way. That a lot of people disagree with me, it shouldn't be in America's pockets sort of thing. But it's certainly so highly thought of, especially. But it doesn't matter what government's in. Do you know what I mean? It's a question of we've got a special relationship.
There's no doubt that the UK is the first among the allies, the English-speaking allies, and that it is a special relationship.
Definitely.
And you might think that because we are neighbors with Canada, that they would be a closer ally, but they are not.
Yeah.
They are allies and they are close, but the UK is number one by far.
Because of the work that you've done, so you would have had a very intimate relationship with this country.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep somebody waiting, but hold your thought, Lee.
Sure.
Yeah.
There he is.
Aphid Lip, talking about special, it's Aphid Lip.
Hiya, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm hypnotized by when Last Dance speaks, so please continue.
Yeah, you mean you're put unconscious and asleep by when I speak.
He's like he's the propofol of the crew.
Exactly. Let me read you a bedtime story. I just have to talk, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, all I was going to say is why do you think that is? Because, like you say, you've got your neighbours like Canada, and I just wonder why.
Well, World War II
exactly
certainly showed a great part of our connection.
Yeah.
We saw you getting bombed, and we wanted. I think my ancestors, a lot of them are from the UK, and some from Ireland.
I guess that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
It does stem from World War II, and in many ways, the UK helped create or teach us the trade crafts that we use now, and so they are number one even amongst the allies.
Yeah,
and there's very close and always has been very close consultation
because I was thinking
the UK and the US.
It's always comical when you see, in later times, obviously like now Macron, making a beeline for Biden. You know, when it comes to a G8 meeting and you see Merkel trying to, and it just makes me smile because ultimately I think, they're trying. I won't say they're trying to muscle in, but no matter what they do, it just don't seem to have what the UK and the US have as a relationship. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
Now, let me ask you this, Lee. There was a time when there was a relationship not long ago between George Bush Jr. or Sr. Which one was it that was in with Tony Blair? And now everyone's calling Tony Blair a
junior,
a war criminal for what he did at that time. So,
well, that's Iraq.
Just repeat that because I flipped out then. So what would you say? There was a time when what? Sorry.
Well, last dance. What am I saying?
Well, you're talking about the Iraq War. And Bush
Right.
and Tony Blair had a very close relationship.
Oh, very, yeah.
Right.
I mean, after 9/11, the UK had to. What choice did they have? And it wasn't a matter of being forced to. They wanted to do everything they could to come to our aid, and that's very noble.
Right.
Part of the problem with that is that, like a good ally, they kind of came to our side during the Iraq War, and I really can't complain, but I really wish that Tony Blair had been a great ally by talking George Bush out of it.
Yeah.
That's how I wish that would have worked out.
Yeah, and I think he fell hook, line, and sinker for what he was told as well.
Well,
he seemed to believe everything that
they would have had the exact same.
True, as you know.
They would have had the same intelligence information, and they should have been just as skeptical. And they probably were pretty damn skeptical about it. But, if it's easy to look at it in hindsight, but in hindsight, I sure wish they had been the great friend that talked us talked us off that ledge. But
he wasn't exactly the great thinker that people might see Churchill as. It seemed like Blair just jumped right on board with "Go get him, fucking let's go."
Yeah. What's that phrase I'm thinking of? Something like a good friend will, I don't know, something. A great friend will help you hide the body. I think an even better friend will prevent you from committing the murder in the first place.
There you go.
Are you sure it's not fool me once?
No, that's not that one.
Blame on
You sound
me.
you sound like George Bush Jr. trying to say that. He totally fumbled that, and it's a famous clip. What happened? We lost Lee. All right, you know what?
He'll be back.
You're not going to fool me again.
Right. I think Bush actually said, "Fool me once, and you're not."
He was like, shame on me.
Yeah, right.
Shame on you. You could tell he had no idea what he was going to say.
Real quick, I'm going to let a guy in here in a second, but one thing people crap on Bush for was when he was with that kindergarten class in Florida, and they whispered in his ear that planes had flown into the World Trade Centers, or at least one. Maybe it was before the second one, or I don't know what they exactly told him, but I don't know what else his reaction should have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. But people definitely shit all over him for that. I mean, I don't think his process time was that quick. Like he was, maybe he really had to process what he had heard. I mean,
no, I think he had to process what he heard. Imagine what he heard.
Right.
Put yourself in his shoes, and sure, I think he did just fine with that.
All right, let me go ahead and add in Mr. Bickerson.
Bickerson, you look familiar to another guy we used to have on here.
Yeah.
It's just a quick joke. I saw the replay of after I left and I was off, and Smokesteve wife said, "Did I miss the Bickersons?" So that's my joke. So now I'm going to leave the studio real quick and correct my name. That was just the quick joke.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Well, wait, wasn't he one of the Bickersons?
Yes, that's why he's self-deprecating.
All right, I get it. Okay.
Self-deprecating. That's a good one.
Did that impress you? Of all
sometimes
the things,
sometimes I self-deprecate, but I think that's a little bit different.
that happens after one too many of these.
What are you drinking? A Coca-Cola or Budweiser? What is that?
Him or me?
You with your
Yeah,
red
I got
can.
the
It looked
same-
like a Coke.
No, it's a koozie. It's a koozie.
It's the koozie.
Usually I got a green koozie.
No, but the can is still Coke colored.
No, it's a shock top.
shock type.
Actually,
Jesus.
I need to grab one.
Luckily, you got the mini fridge right
I got
there.
it right there, loaded up.
And I want to see
And a new ceiling.
Your 100-year-old ceiling. Well, new ceiling, but with reclaimed lumber, which is
Yep.
awesome. I love that. You know, the people pay a lot of money for that reclaimed farm lumber up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, man, I gave away for free.
I know a guy who bought many thousands of board feet to line an art studio, and he paid $11 a board foot.
Shortly after that, I was like, oh, I wonder, because I can only go like basically up top of my head right here, and the rest of the basement's still rafters.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, it looks so cool. I'd like to do the rest. Although it's hard to work with because every piece is like 10 inches at one end and 7 inches at another end.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I started looking it up, and it was like you're saying, it was like so much a board foot, and I'm like, are
It's
you
crazy.
kidding me?
Yeah.
This guy, I guess, had it. It was a room in his house or something. I think maybe his parents passed away or something. I don't know. And he was just tore it down off and he just wanted. There was people left and right in and out of that place, like buying stuff off Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and whatever he was selling. So something must have happened. It seemed like there was family over there and stuff.
Yeah.
They just wanted to unload it.
That's cool, man. I mean, free wood, dude. What'd you tack it to? Right to sheetrock with studs behind it, or
No. It's just some. That's the other thing. Some of it's like well, it's probably all close to half inch, but some of it's a lot thicker than the other stuff. So I went across the
rafters,
the floor
ceiling,
the floor joist.
joist. Yeah. Cool.
And I just put.
So it was an
tacked it in.
unfinished ceilings before with
Yeah,
no
it was
insulation?
just bare. The rafters is what you would see. So I just bolted or wood screwed it into however many I felt would hold each one.
Nice.
And then I would just use my saws. I didn't even use I had a circular saw, but I just used my Sawzall and just hacked it up and just, puzzle pieced it in there. It was
That's
kind of fun
fine.
that way.
I
You
mean-
didn't have to plan it out because there was no way you could plan it out.
Yeah, I mean, you get the chop saw going. It is a little. I mean, using the Sawzall to cut planks, you're vibrating. And,
Yeah, that was. But I had to cut around some 2x4s and some shelving and stuff that I had already put in place. But besides that, it was just basically cutting across the grain, cutting it off.
Right. You're not. Not fine carpentry here.
No. No, but I think it turned out pretty good. You can't see it, This looks just the same. I redid everything that you can't see in this area.
Hey, did you ever do any?
Show? Oh yeah, shoot, Mrs. Lip. By the way, it's Mrs. Lip's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, hi,
Happy birthday, Mrs. Lip.
Here, there. I put the.
You put the skaters back up. Nice.
Yeah,
dude.
and then I put a little gap in there for my LED lights.
Yeah.
That looks killer.
But yeah, I think it came out pretty good.
And you got the Coors light, which I could never read.
Somebody
but-
just gave that to me. Yeah.
No, it's neon, right? Proper neon.
Yeah, I'm not a Coors guy, but I couldn't pass up a free neon.
I love neon lights. Those old school. The way
It probably
they
takes
make
more.
them,
It probably takes. Yeah, it's the real deal.
That's
It
cool.
probably takes more juice than any. Well, the fridge, that and the fridge definitely take up more juice in this corner than anything else does.
It's killer. Good, brother. All right, let me get the boys back because they dropped out. And I can't make them wait all night. There they are.
Hello.
Sorry for this. You're like twins of that other guy.
Yeah, that other guy makes trouble. He's bad, dude. Toxic and everything else.
They even got the same apartment. Condo.
So sometimes that other guy gives me hand jobs. It's
No, I think the other guy's apartment was the mirror image of this guy's.
Oh,
I'm gonna,
Oh, dear.
oh my!
I
So
wonder
how are you, Cypher? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I realized that I literally was having toxicity issues, so Monday was the last drink I had, so I haven't had a drink since Monday. So
Right.
I'm on my 5th day. Yeah, 5th day.
Are you still on? Are you
Well
still
done.
on the green?
Yeah, yeah. The medical marijuana is what's keeping me mellow enough not to go schlepp down Vodak.
What is that?
I mean,
Schlep down Vodak?
vodka. You know,
Vodka.
vodka.
Oh,
He's dyslexic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the chronic pain. The chronic pain's not contrived. It's not made up. It just sits there on my, like a fucking specter on my shoulder all the time.
the chronic's helping your chronic.
Yeah,
Hopefully, right? Hopefully, yeah.
I gotta get something to counter the nastiness.
Do you find yourself listening to more gangster rap since you've been smoking the grass?
Not at all.
Oh.
Well, you can't multiply 0 to anything, and it's still 0 because you never listened to it before. Right? So,
That's right. That's right.
What about Doobie Brothers or Grateful Dead? Do you find
how are you
yourself?
talking?
No, I'm. The one thing I posted over on the Discord was the Mali, summer music or
Yeah,
Thai.
I saw that.
Those are beautiful. I just sit. That's what I like. I need mellowing out, obviously. So so that's what I'm trying to do.
Did you guys like the stuff that they've done for that? I don't know how to describe it. I'm kind of screwing this up here, but they did the
Pornhub?
wait. No, yeah, they did the wait by and Robbie Robertson was involved. They've done other songs, and it's like musicians from around the world, and they all contribute to the recording. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
No.
They do different songs, and it's pretty heavy.
Where do you hear this?
Oh, it's on YouTube. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
it's on YouTube.
man.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's for a change. I think it's called For Change or something to bring up poverty-stricken people from around the world. Oh, and they recently did Cat Stevens' song "Peace Train," and that one was really good. But the Wait by by the band, of course,
Yeah.
and Robbie's there. Unfortunately, Levon's dead, and fucking the bass player, Rick Danko, he's dead. There's only Robbie that's left, so
Yeah.
there's not much of the band. Garth is dead. It sucks, but the band is Robbie.
Right.
He's the last one.
Well, Levon was the main lead singer there, so you definitely miss him.
Yeah, Levon, and he had a great album that Levon released in the early to mid 2000s of traditional sounding music that he sang. And he sang after he had serious throat cancer,
Right.
and his voice was all fucked up sounding, and actually in a really weird way, it was kind of beautiful. So I actually love that album, man. Absolutely. I think it's the best thing.
Yeah, I know I've said this before, but he would have he did his little shows. He did, I forget what he called them, weekend rambles, but it wasn't far from where my father-in-law lived. It was on the other side of the Hudson River, and I kept thinking I would just drive up there and see if I could watch one, but then he passed away, and
That stinks.
missed my
Sorry.
chance.
Yeah. There you go, Mick. Jerry died in 1995, I think, maybe 94.
Oh, was it that long ago? My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was working as a painter in the summer at UMass. I was a student, and we painted the dorms. And someone said he died, like there were some deadheads on the crew, all bummed out, crying. And I was, of course, a kind of ignorant idiot at the time, city kid. So I was kind of like, so what? I don't know. And of course, after years later, I became a huge Deadhead myself, but never really when the Dead was in existence. I liked them. I was a casual fan, but years later, I became a serious fan, which stinks because I might have actually had the chance to see them, had I had that knowledge. But
95.
95. There you go.
I knew it had to be 95.
God
Only
damn, I'm
because of
getting
the-
so fucking old. It's just
Speaking of
Libby.
deaths, Last Dance, and Are you sure it was only 3 years ago that your wife passed? Not to bring this
I'm
back
positive.
up. Okay, because that would have been a year before COVID,
Yep.
and it just seems like it was longer ago than that.
For me, it seems like it was yesterday. But
Oh, I bet. I can only imagine.
yeah, it was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. How long were you married for then, Last Dance? How long were you married for?
Well, sadly, she died the day before our 35th anniversary. So
35th. Well,
it would have been 35 years.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
And she was sick for a number of years leading up to her death. So it was, yeah, she kind of got ripped off. You know, she didn't get her retirement. She didn't have her health to enjoy it. But
yeah,
there's nothing that you
But
can
like
do.
you said,
There's no guarantees.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. But like you said, it's a good job that you finished work and could spend that amount of
Yes,
time with
I
it.
was.
Absolutely.
I was lucky to have that arrangement be available to me at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you thought about going back to work? I mean, you're not that old of a guy.
I've thought about it, but like I was telling Lee here, I find I'm much more relaxed. I mean, when you say it like that, it should be obvious, right? You don't have to work. It's relaxing, right? Working is not relaxing, but it's such a big difference. Although I do miss the work and the intellectual stimulation, I just know it's just healthier for me not to be working. I have a good pension, so I could just I might just enjoy the retirement and
Why not?
relaxation while I can when it's available to me. I'm luckier. A lot of people don't have that ability, so I really should take advantage of it.
I feel like I'm gonna work till I die.
A lot of people. You seem like the kind of guy that would.
I don't think I could. Well, I always go back to the 60 Minutes guys, and there was like 3 of them in a row, like about 10 years ago, and they would retire, and within a month they'd all die. And I'm like, that's the key. That's like the key, you know. Just if you, I guess your brain, you know, if you can figure out a good way to keep your brain going, then
either that or they retired because they knew they were about to die.
Well, maybe it could be.
They didn't actually want to die in the middle of a broadcast.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like it. Mike Wallace, he was one of them. Andy Rooney was one, and I feel like there was a third one.
There was a third, and I can't remember who it was.
Leslie Stahl.
Was it the black guy? Did he die? Is he?
Ed, right?
Ed Bradley.
Ed Bradley.
Morley Safer, maybe.
Morley Safer. That guy was as old as the fucking sun, dude. He was fucking old.
I'd be ashamed if you're still alive and you're watching this show. God damn you!
Was it Mike Wallace or is that his son?
Mike Wallace is the old guy. His son is Chris Wallace.
Mike Wallace. He was super old too. I mean, I think he was like close to 90 years old.
Yep.
Chris Wallace, the Fox guy. That's Mike Wallace's son.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I never realized that.
He's going to be on CNN Plus. I don't know if that started.
I don't know if it did either. He doesn't really look like him.
I don't know. Like, people fucking shit on his head for the way he moderated the debate between Trump and who was it? Biden, right?
Was it Biden or one of the?
Was it the Biden one or one of the earlier?
Or was it Hillary?
Was it a primary debate?
Who knows?
From the earlier election? It could be.
I don't know.
No, I think it was the Biden
was the
one.
last one.
Yeah, it was the last one, a year or so.
I always liked. I thought he did a decent job. You know,
of course,
like on the Sunday, the Sunday morning show. You know, because there's not too many people that do shows like that I can even stomach. And he was one of them.
One thing I liked about him. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No. I do it to you too much, so please.
One thing I liked about him and that other guy is that they were just a little occasionally critical of Fox News coverage. Of what was the other guy that Shep, yeah. Every once in a while Shepard Smith. Every once in a while you could see it would just get to be too much for them, and they would say something like, you know, I don't really believe there's any evidence that the election was stolen, which gets them in hot water.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm sure that they had people breathing down their neck to lean one way or the other.
Yeah, of course.
And they didn't want to jeopardize their standing in.
I've never seen anybody on CNN kind of deviate from the party line and criticize
Well, that's
something.
what.
No, that's not true. You have, and we've talked about him. Michael Smirkanish is kind of
Okay, but he's not really. He's kind of. He's kind of a sideshow. He's not like the news guy.
Smear kind
true.
of guy.
He's the token guy. He's like the token black guy or whatever.
Well, he does.
Is Fox News kind of like
A joke? Yeah, it is.
is it? Right, yeah. Oh, right, okay. Because I mean, it can be quite popular here, by the way, and we get to see the Tucker Carlson reports.
Oh, yeah, he's a real gem. He's a real
So,
staple of journalism.
Yeah.
But it's-
Something that
I-
everybody
I-
should model their career
Obviously
after.
not. Aphid Lip's not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of any of these guys. Any
No.
of them at all. I don't.
Right.
Whether it's Tucker Carlson. I mean,
All of
and I'm
the
pretty right wing, and some of the things he says just how could you say that?
I know.
How could you say that?
propaganda spewing partisans
Yep.
on both sides.
On both sides, there's no room for somebody a centrist. There just there aren't any.
No.
The
There's-
center will hold. The center
There's
will hold.
there's some. I think her name's Erin Burnett. I think her show's like
Yeah, yeah.
out
Oh,
front
yeah,
or something.
Erin.
I don't know if she's on CNN or MSNBC.
She is.
She's on CNN, or she was.
Okay, so
Still?
I
Yeah.
caught it because I've been watching a little bit of the Ukrainian stuff during the daytime and stuff. And she would have somebody on there, and she would like usually it's like a general or somebody that's retired that whatever.
Yep.
And
Some
then,
warmonger.
yeah, exactly. And then at the very end, she knew the conversation was over, and she'd give out this 2 or 3 sentence line that really was not true. Well, not true. Just that you could tell it was like Trump. She had no idea what she was talking about. She was just spewing stuff off, and then she ended the conversation before he even had a chance to come back and be like, that's not exactly true how you just put that. But it was like every person she interviewed, it was the same routine, and then she would end it. It was like she was just waiting to dump her load of bullshit at the very end.
Well, you know what's funny is I'm damn old. I've watched these people before Trump, and they were much more centrist. They definitely have shifted. As amazingly, the entire network, all of their correspondence,
The
all
entire
of their
country, though. The entire
they've
country.
shifted to the left, and it's you don't want that on the news. I don't care what your
But Fox was the same way, though. I mean,
Fox started it. They started it.
Yeah, Fox had a place for Shepard Smith, and Fox had a place for Chris Wallace. There's no place for those two guys on that network anymore.
No,
That
that's true.
Erin Burnett, she started out working for one of the large financial management companies in New York, and I think it was the show Money Watch. I don't even know if that show exists anymore, but they were doing a story there, and one of the producers saw her working there as a financial manager, money manager, and they got her on as a producer and an advisor on Money Watch, and then she worked her way into the media, but she really has no experience. Like she didn't cut her teeth as a reporter or anything like that.
Yep.
She worked her way in from a totally different angle, and I tend to think that she was hired because, at least at the time, of the way she looks, and because she has a smooth delivery, and that probably she's intelligent, but she's really not connected in the political sense, in a reporter sense, and she's not digging deep in that sort of a sense. She's literally a talking head, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I make of that.
Yeah, well, it's certainly true that there are no ugly women on TV news.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that about your news stations.
That's not true, because in the daytime on MSNBC they got this old broad. She's been on TV forever.
Rachel Maddow?
No, I didn't say dude.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I can't. She's got white hair. I can't think of her name, but she stumbles through everything, and she's on, because I've been watching.
Probably Raquel Welch.
No,
she used to be good looking.
I can't. Andrea Mitchell, is that?
Oh, Andrea Mitchell, formerly from NBC. Yeah, well, she used to be better looking.
Well, she can't make a complete sentence. She's
Well,
like Biden.
She must be in her 80s, if not.
Really?
She's the
You think
wife.
so?
She's yeah, she's the wife of Alan Greenspan. Am I
Is she
right?
really? I'm gonna look this up.
The former
I'm
leader
gonna
of the
fact
Fed,
check you.
Oh boy. Well,
Alan Greenspan, who
Check
used to
that.
run the Fed, right?
yeah, exactly. Half the time when Aphid Lips doubts me, I'm wrong. So I'm getting my
Well, no,
Kevlar.
yeah, that's
I'm putting
who
my
I'm thinking
Kevlar
of.
vest on right now.
She's 75. She's 75 years
Okay.
old. And yes, her spouse is Alan Greenspan. Good for you.
I should just leave now on the head. I'm out of here, guys.
You should be the next transsexual contestant on Jeopardy.
What?
That came out of the blue. Here we go.
What?
Okay.
What?
You guys didn't see that amazing run that transsexual dude had on?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it was the second longest in history. It just ended like maybe
Right.
2 weeks ago.
No
I
kidding.
think the episodes are still playing.
Was he a
It's
woman who's pretending to be a man, or a man pretending to be a woman?
it's a dude chick. It's
It was a very
dude.
square-jawed woman, if to say the least. Okay, like
I'm still not getting which one it is, though. Is he saying he's a woman?
It was a woman.
I see.
It's a
So
woman.
He's a
started
woman.
out
Got
as
it.
a man. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be what most of them
But
go
highly
to.
intelligent, obviously. Highly
there's-
intelligent.
There's no reason why you have to be stupid.
Well, I
you go.
understand, but
Trans.
to me, it just seems like, and I don't want to get myself into hot water, but it just seems
Yes,
like
you
it's some
do.
type of, some type of something not right up there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's
I mean,
mean-
because if you just,
not the same part of the brain.
yeah, obviously.
It's not for me to talk about because it's not for me to talk about. I'm just not going to say anything about it.
Is that because your real name's Michelle?
Well, here's what my wife thinks about it.
That's because Smokesteve's wife
Stephanie.
will
Amy. Oh,
will slice
Oh,
him up.
Your wife was a fan of the recent.
Yeah, well, I think that she just sees we'll just say the person wants to be called Amy, so that's what we'll call this man, person, human, woman, whatever.
On,
But,
Don't get yourself in trouble.
on Twitter, that's a big deal, going on. It's at least I'm in that area. I just got
Hey, Georgie, on Jeopardy, no advantage. In swimming, huge fucking
Right.
advantage.
that's what
Right.
triggered me was the Leah Thomas
right.
Yeah.
U-Pin,
That's
Trans-
how
trans
I
woman.
look at the Jeopardy thing. Let them do what they
Absurd.
want.
Yeah, that's
You know,
fine.
They've been having these really nice, almost studio level pictures of the guy girl, but they've got some that aren't so complimentary, and it's just absurd looking. I mean, it's guy with full twig and berries with a women's swimsuit on, about 6'3" or 2, and just a man just sitting there.
I don't understand how people can
I don't
think that
either.
that's okay. I really don't. I just don't.
Well,
So this is part of the problem with
Well-
Aphid Lip playing the liberal on this show is that he's oftentimes he's to the right of me. So
Well, let's put it to you this way: like,
Yeah,
what
don't
if
get
there
me
was
started on abortion, because
what if there's a female kickboxing thing, and then like a guy comes in dressed?
it'll
up
probably
like-
happen. So we'll
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah, but then you'd be talking about them physically kicking the shit out of somebody.
Wasn't
yeah, that's not right.
wasn't there an MMA fighter who was a
Yeah.
trans
There
woman?
probably was, or a wrestler. I'm sure.
Still
I'm
is.
sure there's got to be a wrestler.
had some MMA fights. I think the second fight, she concussed the opponent.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that there's been MMA fighters, women, that have fought men, though.
Exactly.
So you have to cross that line there. And I know that there's
womanly ham fist.
I know that there's wrestlers, women wrestlers, and there's women football players. So I mean, they got to just lay into
Everybody, Amy gets the pub's thumbs up
yeah,
because Smokesteve wife wants.
Yeah, I don't
appreciates it.
care. I don't care if Amy's on Jeopardy,
no,
or if
I don't
Amy
either.
wants to be called a woman, or if Amy wants to wear dresses. That's fine.
There's our man. Well, she.
I don't care. I don't
I
care
don't
if some
either.
dude wants to put, horns in his forehead and
No,
and
don't
tattoo
care.
his face like a
Right,
snake
alter-
and get
right,
fangs
body.
and call himself a snake. I don't care.
Right. Yeah. It
It's
goes
the
in all
same thing.
directions,
It only comes down to when there's physical competition. If somebody's biologically superior,
Yes.
then it's fucking wrong. Other than that,
Go on, dude.
don't be going
free.
all
Do
Howard-
what makes you
Right.
feel good. You know, I don't care.
I do want to point out that snakes do not have horns. But
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
Oh wait, there is a horned viper.
There is.
Okay,
There's a
you're
horn.
right.
Okay.
Though they're not technically horns, it is in the name, so you could make an argument.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Well,
like
I,
always.
for some reason, I feel like the snake guy. You know, I feel like he's got like nubs on his head that he had
Right.
put in there.
Good evening, lads. Good evening.
Hey,
Hello, based.
Base Spray has an opinion on snake
Well,
men. Do you think it's okay if you want to be called a snake?
You referring to men that dress in women's clothes?
Sure.
Oh,
I didn't say
yeah,
hiding a snake.
yeah. I've gone. They can do what they want to do, but I would like to throw this question out. What about toilets? I know about sports. Sports is just cut and dry for me.
women's spaces, you mean?
I support men
Yeah,
who dress
women's
up as
spaces.
toilets.
Whatever.
If the dude, I say just leave it the way it was. If the guy thinks he's a chick and wants to go in the women's wet restroom, and occasionally if a woman complains, he has to deal with that.
Why can't he go in the men's room? What
Yeah,
is it?
he's got his tackle. If he's got his tackle, he's got to go in the men's
I know,
room.
but what are you
Simple
gonna?
as
Are you gonna like have some attendant, feeling them up every time they go into the bathroom to make sure?
that. No, it's
I
not fun. It's
I don't
not fun.
understand.
Well, it's
Why doesn't he want to go in the men's room?
Well, I have a friend that is now a chick, and when
No
I was
way.
at the wedding, when I was at the wedding that he showed up to, the first thing she did was she walked into the women's bathroom.
Yeah, but they're going to do that, aren't they? They're going to do that. That's what they're going to do. They're going to, this is the statement I'm making.
Yeah, there's.
I remember when I was a kid, because you didn't come across this much. I mean, you still don't.
But
I
if you've got
mean,
your
the
meat
percentage.
and two veg,
The
if you've got your meat and
percentage.
two veg, stop fucking playing games.
yeah,
We don't
the
need to.
prob-
We don't need to have. There's definitely more handicapped people, and we have special reason. Bars and a stall for them to go into.
Yeah, a
But
stall.
Yeah, but the number of handicapped people versus transgendered people. Well, now it's gone up because it's like the cool thing to do. But when this argument first came about, we don't need
Fair
3 bathrooms.
I know what
Yeah,
you're
well, we've got
saying is.
all commercial premises got to have a disabled toilet. You've made a very, very simple,
not-
good point.
Yeah,
They're
it's not their
solo,
choice either.
they're
It's not their
solo.
choice.
Yeah, it's not a multiple thing. You go in there as a solo, or like you go in with a helper, but it's a solo cell, isn't it? So you're not interfering with males or females. You can think you're disabled because you are.
Here's what I don't know. I do know that most guys would not care if a man came into the women's room, if a woman came into the men's room to use
Right.
because we just don't give a shit. We're not interested.
I mean, if you were in there with your buddies, you'd be giggling and stuff.
but you don't really care, right? You're just not embarrassed.
Yeah,
right?
but if some chick came in and took a crap, I'd be kind of grossed out. I gotta say.
I might crack out my iPhone.
I know
and
you'd be
snap a quick
grossed out.
picture.
But you don't
But if it was
really.
a dude, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna wash my hands.
What
I'm
about
telling
what
you,
about if your teenage daughter's in the cubicle when the male dressed as in women's clothes walks into the female?
I mean, I
that's
think
the
you're not
question.
going to have an argument with any of us here.
Well, here's the thing that none of us really know: is how do
I
women
knew I'd
feel?
have an argument with
when
you
that
on this.
happens?
You're right.
on Twitter, I've followed a whole bunch of feminist activists, not because they're feminist in general, but because they're against the transgenders getting into women's spaces, and the female point of view is there's a statistical probability. There's a much higher statistical
know that.
probability if it's allowed.
Really?
Then there's higher probabilities of rapes and assaults
Correct.
of men on women.
But you're only listening to the Twitter noise, right? I'm wondering what does
No,
the average woman think?
No, there's multiple examples of in Britain alone of these people going to a female prison and then ended up raping some of their cellmates, and they got convicted for that. And there's been about 2 or 3 I can check up now and Google it. So I'm sure it's the same in America.
When they get convicted of that, do they get stuck back in a women's prison
That's
again
the other
to
one, isn't
serve their sentence?
They go back and forth.
this is the clown world we live in. This is the fucking clown world we live in. They should allow to go back into like fucking cat D prison in another female prison to do the same trick that they did last time. It's crazy.
You're convicted of rape. You are hereby sentenced to 6 months in a women's prison or 60 years. Yoo-hoo!
Oh my god, fucking crazy, dude. You're right. It is.
Okay.
Hey, look who's back.
I don't know.
Hello. Yeah, sorry. I just keep flipping out. I'm so sorry tonight. I really am.
Well, that's all
Hello,
right.
Welshman. How are you?
I'll be right back.
Hello there. How you doing?
Hello there. Yeah, all right. Thank you. You?
Yeah, not bad.
Good.
Yeah,
sorry. I'm really having problems tonight. I don't know why.
Right back. Gotta grab 2 more beers.
Yeah,
And see if
I
I
think
can get a
my
rum.
service
for the
is
wife.
having problems in our area, so I keep flipping out.
Now you're back.
Wife, I need water and rum. I'll leave it on the stairs.
I don't know if you'll agree with me. It's Joe, isn't it? That when Steve said earlier on about we call Tony Blair a war criminal, that's because I believe he is very much a war criminal.
Yeah.
Because we the British, we went to war on a lie.
Absolutely.
It was an outright lie. There was no evidence of WMDs in Iraq, and that's why the British called Tony Blair a war criminal, because it was a lie.
Welshman, I think we said, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago? There were, you'll remember, like I do, I'm sure, because it was major news. Him standing up in Parliament and saying they have the ability to hit us in 45 minutes. And it was quite a shock at the time, thinking, really, and then we're all like, yeah, well, you've got to go and get him then, and then we go and get him with the Americans, and then you find out we didn't have any of that technology whatsoever, and a lot of innocent people died on both sides, which shouldn't have died, but there's a lot more to it. And I think they had to sell it to us because they wanted regime change. So, but hey ho. Yeah. But it's always the innocent people that suffer.
Yeah, I mean the worst thing about that again is that there was not when Saddam was taken out of power.
Yeah,
they had no plan to actually control the country and put the right people in power to stabilize the country. And then when they went to Libya, they did exactly the same thing. They had nothing when Gaddafi had gone. It was fucked.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, they did a worse job in Libya. Libya was just a
You got to remember, Welshman, that could be. I'm not saying it was, but that could have been the plan. Because when they're fighting between each other, they're not fighting anybody else. So I just don't know sometimes if it's by design. So I might be wrong.
Well,
I reckon Mr. Last Dance would have probably no, but he's not allowed to talk about it.
I'm sorry, I missed the conversation. I just got back.
Regime change, and were you responsible? I know you were vague, but can you at least let us know if you were responsible for putting the people in place and regime changes across the world?
I go there myself and take over, put people in there. If you look carefully, you'll see strings from them leading, and that's me up there pulling the strings.
Pulling the strings.
It's funny, because I thought I'll just check this out. Right after the report, there was a lot of
thank you, wife.
Damnation, I guess, about the hospital being hit in the Ukraine, and that Putin should be responsible for war crimes. I thought, okay, just this is really interesting. So I put into, I think it was YouTube actually. I just made it up, by the way. I just wondered if it happened the other way around. So I typed into YouTube, Iraq hospital hit by US bombs. And one of the first videos that comes up, I'm surprised it's still on, actually. I'm surprised YouTube haven't taken it off. There was an attack on an American base in Iraq.
We have no shame.
Killed 2 American soldiers and 1 British soldier. And the retaliation was that the Americans sent in some planes and bombed up fuck out of this. I mean, this hospital, there was nothing left of it. 6 people were killed. This, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, well, where was the outcry there then about, it's a war crime? Do you know? It's just sort of,
There should have
What's
been.
yeah, there should have been.
Now, Lee, you know you can't apply logic to things like that when it comes
Very
to the
true.
U.S. government.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, we would just blow up the whole fucking wedding of people
Yeah,
to kill a couple.
No, just because we saw gunfire.
that wasn't there.
There was nobody. We just there's gunfire. Let's bomb it and then see what the result was.
Oh, they're having
Yeah,
a wedding. Oh, they're having a wedding. Oh shit, we killed 48. I think we're all speaking about the same one. It was like a wedding or something, wasn't it? And the
Right.
people
right.
who were off, they weren't even at the fucking wedding.
Right.
And then, like you
And-
said, some AK-47s going into the air. And it's like, right, let's get the one tonner down.
Now,
And even and the only, let me see one.
The moron at the wedding will do a pretty good job at killing one or two of the wedding.
That's
guests.
true.
Yeah,
We've seen-
Trying to
Thanks
have
to-
more fun.
Thanks to Live Leak, we've seen those videos.
Or even
Yeah,
his own
yeah.
head when he looks down the barrel to check
Right.
to see if something's wrong with the rifle. But
I can't see it. What's wrong?
It's always
Wow.
amazing on those videos. They'll drag the body off, and everybody's like shock and horror. And then 2 minutes later, the wedding carries on. And it's
Right,
like,
yeah, right.
what? And it just wouldn't happen here. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
There's more where he came from.
yeah,
Go.
yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
yeah, somehow they forget.
That's why we had 10 kids.
They have an automatic weapon angled up at like 45 degrees, not vertical. And then when it fires, it goes down and then across. And there's
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right.
I've seen that, yeah.
are like on the
He
other end.
fucking wipes out half the fucking party, doesn't
Yep.
it? When he fires the gun, it just drags him everywhere.
Yeah.
There was one- there was one
I've
a
shot
few
an
days
AK
ago.
before, and those fucking things are thunder crack loud weapons. Though they look kind of foolish when you're
Yeah.
holding them, they crack the thunder, dude. You can't
I-
imagine pointing that at another human being and even imagining pulling the trigger. And these guys are blasting it around with little kids, and they're so fucking
Yep.
loud, dude.
One-handed.
Yeah, one-handed.
Yeah, mad.
Fucking crazy, man.
Lads, have you heard about the biolabs in Ukraine at the moment? And
Yes.
the psyop that seems to be happening.
All right, give it to us, man. Psyop
Okay.
Does it involve neo-Nazis?
Oh, sure.
Well, if it's
We'll
Ukraine,
hear
it does, doesn't it? Right. The bottom line is there's multiple biolabs in Ukraine. In fact, one of your intelligence officers actually admitted the fact. She calls it a research facility, not a biolab. Same thing. You know what it's like? It's like fact checking. They just oh no. So right, we know there's biolabs in Ukraine. And she said they're not being run by the Americans, but they're being financed by the Americans. Like the way they do these things.
Oh yeah.
Now we've been hearing for the last couple of days from mainstream media in the UK and the same in the US, I'm sure, that we're going to have some sort of bio like weapon. We're going to have some sort of like chemical warfare that's going to go on, and the Russians are doing it. Well,
yeah.
the reality-
You mean that's trickling into the media a lot now that they're talking
Yeah.
about if Russia
Yeah,
does this, then it goes
Yeah.
to that level. So
Yeah, well, in reality, not in reality, but the other way of what I've been hearing, what's being said, is that they're petrified that the Russians are going to get into some of these biolabs and take some of their research, or maybe cause a problem. But what she said on oath is that we've been advising the Ukrainians colleagues that they need to destroy all the evidence. Why would you want to destroy evidence?
I don't
Wouldn't
believe she
you wanna
used the word
save
destroy
the
the
evidence?
evidence.
You see, like if you're doing research in some sort of decent research, why would you want to destroy all the evidence? She literally said in the Senate, or she gave oath yesterday, that they're destroying all evidence from the biolabs. And why would you do that?
Would that not be
do.
just to stop Russia from getting a hold of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why would you destroy it? Why would you
Well,
destroy it?
They would have the recipe for creating it, and they would have that safe and secure somewhere.
Yeah.
They just need to get rid of the physical contents of the lab.
Mm.
But at some level, with this international war and the killing and the mass killings, like, do you think Putin is trying to achieve a set amount of goals, or is he trying to cause mass chaos? Is he literally trying to get the two sections of the Ukraine that were separatist, that had separate leadership, correct?
Yeah.
Back under Russian control and leave the rest for the Ukraine? Is that all they want? Because apparently there was a media release last week that said Russia made that offer, that if they would just, the two, Lugansk and Donetsk, that if they were just made Russian territory, then the rest would be left to the Ukraine. And it would be over.
It's only my opinion, of course, but I think the whole objective would be to take Kiev, or whatever they're calling it these days. I think once the capital's taken, I think then he'll expect there to be some serious negotiations at that point. And you've got to remember, if you look where that capital is and draw a line straight down, he basically takes half the country. I don't think he can possibly take. I don't think he can possibly take the whole country and keep control of it. I think once he's got the capital, like I say, it's only my opinion. I think then the puppet will be put in to be very pro-Russian government-wise, and where the negotiations go from there, whether the sanctions stay in place or whatever. But
I don't think he can take the capital without it being an unprecedented slaughter.
Right.
It's going to be a bloodfest. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Both sides.
It's not going to happen anytime soon either.
It's going to be like Leningrad. It's going to be from street
Steve,
to street.
can you do me a favour? I put a tweet in the back chat.
Is it? Oh no!
It's just it's a photo, and what it is, it's a photo of Europe from 1998, when NATO said they weren't going to encroach, and it's a photo today where you can see where NATO have completely gone onto Russia's borders. This is only in like 20 years, and like I said,
I don't like the way that's phrased. It makes it sound like NATO invaded these countries. These countries begged NATO to come in and join them.
The agreement was, but they weren't going to go. They weren't going to go eastbound.
That was not the agreement. That was never the agreement.
The agreement
that was only the agreement on East Germany. That was the only.
Did I do it?
Aspect. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. Look at that.
Where is NATO?
Where is NATO?
That proves that Putin's a good man.
It doesn't prove Putin's a good man, but he's been telling Europe and NATO to stop encroaching and don't even think about going into Iraq militarily, and it's exactly what they're doing. He's speaking at the European Parliament, for fuck's sake. He spoke it last week. This is exactly what Putin said. He didn't want, and they agreed on the Minsk agreement not to militarize it, and they have. And he
for a
wants
second,
to go
I see what you're saying, Base Welshman, but just for a second, rationalize with me. And do you think that the reason he doesn't want NATO to be that close to those borders is because he always planned on taking Ukraine back and some other areas around there, and he knew that would just hurt his chances even worse? So why would he want them to be there? I don't think that caused him to do what he's doing now. It just
he's been saying this for over 20 years.
Soured his plans a little bit.
He's been saying this for over 20 years. He's been warning them for 20 years. It's not something he said like last 6 months.
No, I know, but I don't think that has anything to do with him wanting to take back Ukraine and
which was never going to be a part of NATO. Anyways.
Yeah, put Soviet Union back to its former glory.
Well, I don't even think that's what he wants to do. I know some of the Western.
What do you think his goal is? You think he's just mad that NATO is there and he's trying to teach NATO a lesson?
Look, he's surrounded by US bases, and you've got NATO, on all the Europe side, and it's like a big wall going down straight through Russia now. It has changed completely, and they've done exactly what he told them not to do. And you're fucking with like a nuclear power, like top 2 in the world.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he's a dick, man. He's like
but I'm not backing him.
None of the countries on his borders have invaded Russia. Only Russia has invaded the countries on their borders.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, of course, he has. But it is a former Russian state, like you said. I understand what you're saying, but Ukraine is a particular awkward geographical country because that's where the line has been drawn, and it's
Yeah, I
right
mean,
next to him. And I understand. He's been telling us for fucking decades that
So,
this is
so
going
on
to
the
happen.
flip side of that, so you're saying that if NATO
Hey,
wouldn't
look
have
who's back.
encroached in those areas, you don't think
No,
that Putin would have invaded Ukraine now, or what he did back in 2014?
Cheers. Yeah,
no.
thanks.
or Georgia.
Come on,
What about Georgia?
really?
NATO wasn't encroaching in Georgia.
Do you really think that?
No. Well, I don't know about Georgia.
Georgia?
I can't. I'll have to look back at Georgia.
Sorry,
But,
I flicked out just a second ago, but I thought what Last Dance said was so true. As much as we might think we're encroaching closer and closer to the Russian border, let's not forget those countries certainly wanted to be
Right.
part of NATO and have that protection against the Soviet Union. There's no doubt about it. Yeah,
And they want that because
it's a real
Russia
good point.
Russia pretends that they're the only ones that have history, that the Nazis they think that history started in 1939 or
Right.
and these countries like Poland and Romania and Czechoslovakia and Hungary,
Most
they have history too. They were dominated and militarily and brutally by the Soviet Union, which was basically Russia. It was centered in Russia. It was Moscow,
Yeah.
and they
And let's-
desperately wanted NATO to protect them.
And let's not forget, I mentioned it before, at the beginning of World War II, the non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union meant that they took half of, they carved Poland up.
Right. Well, they forget it. They mark the start of World War II when
They swapped sides, basically.
that's not the start of World War II for them. That when Hitler invaded Russia, that's the start of World War II. They conveniently forget about the Ribbentrop-Molotov pact that partitioned Poland and
Yeah. And,
So,
and
I mean-
killed thousands of Polish, but the Bolsheviks was it? They
the Katyn Forest massacre. They killed the
millions.
entire Polish officer corps was
that's right,
captured and executed in cold blood in the Katyn Forest.
No kidding, huh? Hey,
yeah, I've been to the Polish Independence Day twice now, and if you're ever in Europe, any of you boys, and it's November time, I highly recommend going to Poland for their Independence Day. It's something that I've never, I don't think I've ever experienced anything like their patriotism. They love their culture, they love their country, very passionate, and they've been slaughtered by the Nazis and the communists
Right.
more than once. So,
But Welshman, it's interesting you should say that, because as much as you say they're very patriotic, you see, I think the United States of America is very patriotic as well, more so than us.
No.
When you
no, there's elements, yes. But if you talk about a nation like Poland and a nation like America, America's split. It's split, Joe. It's fucking totally split. You've got half of America that hate America for some unknown reason, right? They do.
Well, let me give you a really good example. Just looking at your picture there with the Union Jack on, you'll remember about a year or so ago, there was a big debate in this country is whether that was racist to be able to put that flag. Everything I ever see in America, people have got flagpoles with flying the American flag. They're proud of their country, and yet we do it here, and you're deemed as being racist because it's still part of the UK and the empire and imperialism. I mean,
We have our troubles. We have our
How can a flag? How can your nation's flag be racist? That's why it's in my thumbnail. That's why.
The UK flag, the Union Jack. You remember there was a big debate about a year and a half ago. I mean, how awful is that? If I want to fly that flag outside my house, why am I deemed as being racist? It's
how often do you see it on a hat?
like yours? Yeah, quite often. There's lots of caps with Union
Yeah,
Jack.
man. So you have patriots there.
But it's.
But how about yourself, Lee? Do you wear one?
But you compared it with Poland. You compared
you
it
have
with
that
Poland.
nice hair, though.
Don't compare America
a
with
haircut
Poland when it
so
comes to
bad.
patriotism. Because, like I said, you can't take that away. America, there's a big percentage that are very patriotic, and they say their national anthem in the morning, and they pray, and then they got the flag outside. Yeah, but that's not throughout the whole of America. With Poland, it's virtually the whole fucking country.
Yeah,
The
it's
whole
definitely
fucking
not
country.
here.
Well, I
Not
can't
me either.
I can't speak on America. You guys know whether that's prevalent in
Well,
the US.
we've seen what goes on in America. I know there's Americans in the panel, but we've seen what goes on in America, right? I'll tell you something now, right? If any of those fucking Antifa BLM lots start fucking burning a fucking letterbox in Warsaw, they'll get fucking lynched on the fucking spot.
I don't think
In
I
fact,
don't think you're supposed to
a
say
handful of
lynch.
Antifa turned up at their National
You
Independence
can.
Day. A handful of Antifa. There was an army of police protecting them. An army.
A whole army of cops. That's crazy. So just to be clear, I don't wear this hat just. I have my reasons for it, but I do consider myself to love my country. That's why
Yeah.
I wear this. I don't wear it for any other reason than for the love of the place that I live, and I think it's a wonderful place. It's not to tie me to some side or group or color. It's because I pick what I believe in case by case. You can't fucking wedge everybody into two sides. It's fucking impossible, man.
Right.
So I love my country, and I'm part of, I pick and choose,
Yeah.
Freedom is the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
The most freedoms. That's what I think. And sometimes I might not agree with them. Sometimes I do agree with them, but I always want freedom and the most freedom for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's cutting onions in here?
What?
Getting a little dusty in there from that wood. Yes, sir.
Don't mind that tear running down my cheek.
The only thing being cut over here is the cheese.
Freedom!
Right.
I've come to question that though lately. I mean, I'm thinking, we're told that we live in a democratic, free society, blah, blah, blah. And then I look at just the Canadian example with the protesters, people getting bank accounts frozen because they wanted to contribute to the cause. And
I know.
And then I think, wow, that's amazing because...
Isn't it shocking?
Yeah, it is.
Shocking.
And I'm thinking that all of a sudden they don't like it, so they bring in a law to say that's illegal and everything else.
But,
and then
but
it makes
Lee,
me
what
think,
about...
is democracy then an illusion?
Well, what I think is shocking is how easily they slid into that. Those are pretty authoritarian measures, and they just
big time.
they snapped their fingers, and overnight there it was.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a bit like the Nazis. It's a bit like the Nazis robbing the Jews or robbing whoever during the war. What they did? They knocked the door down, and they took their belongings. They took whatever they can get. Right. What Trudeau did, he just went digital, didn't he? He just went digital and pulled the plug. End of. Exactly the same, just different methods.
Well, let me present this question, though. Like, Welshman, do you believe that blocking the freedom of passage, freedom of travel for citizens is a legitimate thing to do for protest? From any side, mind you, BLM or your truckers or anybody.
Sorry, can you just rephrase that again? Sorry, Steve.
Meaning that is it a legitimate form of protest to block people from freedom of travel, from freedom
going about their normal activity? So yeah. So blocking infrastructure it's in such a way that you're causing chaos for everyone else. A bit like
in the United States here, like freedom of travel, freedom of passages, it is a right. You are allowed to travel unless it's a blocked area. Citizens don't stop other citizens from going to places. That's
the scary thing is, Steve, is that if sorry, I was just out of it for a couple of minutes there, I had to go and do something. But the scary thing is, if we believe we've got that freedom and we've got democracy, and that's what Canada did, that can happen to you tomorrow, because all of a sudden the government can go, we don't like what you're doing, so we're gonna do this or do that.
My point behind it is that Black Lives Matter did a lot of street
close on everything. So you're out of a job, you can't pay anything. All of a sudden, and actually, what we'll do, we'll take your animals as well if your animals are there. He threatens to euthanize animals, right? You see, you're going to take them off the truckers, and if they didn't claim them, they'd be euthanized in 6 days.
So annoying.
It's crazy. And the Western media have been silent of Justin Trudeau, or sorry, Castro Jr.'s behaviour. Absolutely silent about it. He was in London 3-4 days ago.
Meeting the Queen. He was meeting the Queen, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking disgrace, right? Honestly, the mainstream media throughout the world are a fucking enemy of the people. It's so much. How can they not be in uproar over this?
I just think that there's more important things that people
No,
care
there's
to
not.
watch.
There's not. There's your neighbour up north, right? Who's got a cunt in power, right?
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think Justin Trudeau is the top Google search for Americans right now, and that's what that's what our news goes off of, is what the people are interested in, not what you think that the people are interested.
Yeah, that's
it's
because
what the mass
media. That's because mainstream media are feeding you this.
No, it's because mainstream media wants to sell advertising, and they want to keep people watching their channel.
No, it's not. That's why.
Well, you're a fool if you think otherwise, because that's their main goal is advertising.
You don't think mainstream media are giving you a narrative all the time?
No, I think mainstream media has their, obviously each side has their goal of what they think makes them look good.
I agree with that.
But their main goal, besides anything else, is keeping people watching their channel, keeping people tuned in. And they're going to talk. If they talk about Justin Trudeau right now for more than 30 seconds, people are going to turn the channel. And I'm just telling you, that's just the way it is.
Right.
Nobody cares about Justin Trudeau.
So fuck jib jabs. What beats Kung Flu is the Ukraine-Russia war. I haven't heard fucking Kung Flu in the UK now for fucking 3 weeks. Not a thing, right? So just
like magic.
Just prescribe Ukraine. Prescribe Ukraine, and you'll beat Kung Flu.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sells for the media. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, MSNBC and CNN have had their ratings numbers shoot up with the Ukraine war, so it sure sells.
Exactly.
So they're never going to talk about anything else if they can.
Why would they?
I don't disagree with what totally what Aphid's saying. It's all about views, but the problem is they're selling you a narrative. They're selling you fear.
I mean, I think you're just seeing it that way. It's not that way. It's just if everybody was interested in what's going on with Justin Trudeau, they would be feeding that shit down our throat. But we don't want to see it. We don't want to. They know we don't want to see it because it's boring, and we don't care about what's going on in Canada.
And to a degree, I mean, Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, has come out and said, we've just got to live with it. We've got to carry on with our lives. And because the Omicron seems to be a weaker variant, the
natural vaccine.
Well, to a degree, Welshman, that's why it's probably gone away as well, because it's like, we just got to get on with life. We've had 2 years of it, and we're fed up of it.
What does that mean?
And so we've just got to get on with stuff. So.
Omicron develops C cells and T cells as well, so it touches all the bases, and all the evidence is coming out now that if you have been infected with the virus, you are in a far better situation than you would be if you've been double jabs now. And the evidence is out. All the evidence is out. And Pfizer looks a shit show, lads. I don't know if you've read the Pfizer reports, but if you haven't, you want to look up Dr. John Campbell and check him out. And it's not very good viewing.
Maybe you could put a link, and Smokesteve could put it on the screen.
I've watched that guy. I've watched that guy. He's shunned by the medical community. Shunned, I tell you.
Shunned?
Yeah. So was ivermectin, lads. So was fucking ivermectin. So was ivermectin. Have you seen the research?
Is that the dewormer?
Horse paste.
Yeah, that's the one. There's one they make for animals, and there's one they make for humans that won the Nobel Medical Prize. Yeah, 2015, I believe, and it's in the 10 most useful drugs known to man. Check it out.
Will do.
Ivermectin has multiple uses.
You will not.
I promise.
Dr. Campbell, though, doesn't I mean, it's interesting you say that he shuns Steve, because the one thing that he isn't, he's not a conspiracy theorist. He's not. He's,
Yeah,
No.
he actually promotes that you should go and get the jab. His biggest problem
He's
with
got the jab. He's got the jab. Yeah, he got the jab.
So he does promote that you should go and get it.
Yeah.
So he's not like saying don't get it.
But
His biggest problem is that I think we said before that a week or so ago is that he just wishes that the UK Health Board would aspirate when they give the injection, because he believes that's the reason that's giving people some heart problems. Because if you don't aspirate the injection, pull it back a bit, see if there's a bit of blood in there. Because if there's a bit of blood, you're in a blood cell. So you take the needle out, put it back in, and start again. And we're not doing that. And a lot of countries in Europe haven't do that. And that's what
Canada's not doing it. America's not doing it.
Yeah.
So the delivery is going through the circulatory system instead of
like in Pulp
It's
Fiction.
intramuscular.
Yes.
Like when when he's shooting the Vincent Vega's shooting the H in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I remember that scene too. The after he takes it and he starts to drive.
Hey, Fizz, sorry, mate. I can't get on YouTube when I'm on Streamlabs. It won't allow me to do it.
Oh.
But if you look up Dr. John Campbell and put Pfizer in, it'll come up. It's about the last 3 or 4 videos.
They call him Soup.
Taking the piss now.
I got it.
I wish I could throw a tomato at Steve, but I just can't do that online.
The only reason I say they call him Soup is because I used to know a kid with the last name Campbell, and of course his
Soup
nickname
Campbell,
is Soup.
Oh yeah.
Soupy.
It's made in Camden, New Jersey, and
I thought I could taste some chemical residue from the
I can't, before Camden was just a name, and then one time I took a train trip, and one of the stops was Camden, New Jersey, and I mean, I could not believe what a horror show that place looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like a picture from World War II, like black and white and bombed out. I mean, of course, it was from the train station. That might not be the nicest area of Camden.
Right.
But
Is it inland or on the coast, Camden?
it's basically inland.
You should take a drive down some of the streets in St. Louis here.
Oh.
I've been in bad neighborhoods. And this was really special.
My brother-in-law,
goodies.
he's divorced from this girl now. They got married, but her father was head of Campbell's Soups in the USA.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's probably very familiar with Camden and couldn't wait to get out.
Is their last name Progresso?
I forget what her name. I know Julia her name was, but I forget what her surname was now. But he was her dad. Was head of Campbell in the USA. So.
Progresso is just another big, huge soup brand over here in the United States.
It's probably owned by Campbell's.
Lads, have you heard that Facebook, Instagram, or Metaverse have changed their terms of service?
I heard that.
Oh, I heard something, but what's the story? I didn't hear what's the story.
Oh, it's insane.
To promote violence to any Rusky, anyone who's Russian.
That's okay.
You could not just hate.
For a while,
Was there a time limit on it? Was that true that there's a time limit on it, like 2 minutes or something?
I haven't heard that.
I heard that if you're Ukrainian, it's better. So just put a Ukrainian flag.
I'm still not getting it. What have they done? I don't get.
So they've changed their terms of service because you can't have a go up someone for anything now, can you?
You can't promote violence. That was the rule.
Said it. You can now object hate and project violence to any Rusky. Rusky.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Google it.
Oh, I got a Russian friend.
I believe you. I just
crazy.
Because I heard something, but I didn't look into the story. Oh my God!
It's full on clown world. They're picking off anyone: Formula One drivers, athletics, gymnasts, anyone.
Like
look at Abramovich with Chelsea. I think that's disgusting.
Young opera singers and classical violinists.
Yeah.
They're being fucking thrown away.
Isn't that insane? I honestly, we talked about Canada. I find that shocking. As well.
That's the most shocking. Like some of these, like Russian musicians, I don't know if it's true in other countries, but they trained so hard for their whole young life, hours and hours a day, and they might actually make it to a conservatory or a symphony, and then their fucking leader does this shit, and they get totally just kicked out, and the whole
But
world
can you
is like,
imagine the
fuck
other way
them,
around,
they
Steve?
suck, but they are literally just human beings who
Yeah.
lost the birth lottery. You know what
Exactly.
Can you imagine if
That's
you
it.
come to their
It's
sexuality or their
They're-
race
Oh,
or,
You know-
or their religion? Can you imagine doing it for that? Oh,
Yeah.
well, they'd be all up in arms, the libs, wouldn't they?
damn.
But-
exactly.
but it's all cool. It's all gravy.
Right. Crazy.
You know,
Crazy.
people talk about McCarthyism and they say, well, if I was around then, I wouldn't have supported it. Well, you are supporting it now. That's what's happening now, and you're doing the same fucking thing.
This is why I keep on saying about mainstream media. This is you know, any decent journalist would be asking the right questions here, but they're not. They're all towing the fucking line.
You
They're
know,
all going with it.
and it's I expect them to eventually get sober and realize, wait a minute, this
No.
discriminating against Russians is wrong. But it hasn't happened yet, has it?
They were all pouring away Russian vodka, but the dumb fuckers, if you look at the bottle where it says Smirnoff,
Yeah,
it says
so
fucking
true.
made in the UK.
Yeah.
So they're
Made in
fucking
the UK.
pouring British vodka, made Russian style. You
Oh,
dumb
but the
fuck.
name is Smirnoff. That's Russian, so right.
Well, there we go, isn't it? There we go.
Yeah, I noticed that Welshman. I just thought how there was some retailers in Manchester that were saying they were throwing all the bottles away. You idiots! You're actually putting English people out of work.
That makes no sense. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Smirnoff is not Russian. Stoli is not Russian. I've learned a lot about what is and what isn't Russian when it comes to booze. That's all I really care about. No, but the only one that I know of that is a popular one is Russian Standard. That is actually Russian vodka. Like none of the popular ones are actually Russian, though it's a Russian spirit. It's very popular, obviously.
Yeah, I just
Absolutely.
looked it up because I didn't want to give you anything false, but it's called Diageo, which is a huge drinks company. I mean, they own loads of brands. You'd be amazed how much they own, and they own Smirnoff, and you know that's that. So it's nothing to do with Russia whatsoever. So
Right.
Well,
there might be a license to pay. I don't know, but it's like yeah ridiculous.
in fact, there's a vodka. It's a very cheap one. It's called Glen in the UK. Joe might know of it. But what's funny about it is it was the biggest fake operation in the UK, and the operation was literally a mile from my house, in an industrial unit where they were faking the cheapest vodka sold in the UK. They were faking it, right? And yeah, it was huge off. It was fucking crazy. You're just like, what? The
Yeah.
cheapest vodka in the UK they faked.
How did the racket work? How did the con work?
Was it a label gig? Sometimes they just
Yeah,
make
they had these 1,000-liter, 2,000-liter fucking drums. They would just like bottle them up. Obviously, they had a reasonable printer and all that. It all looked kosher, but it wasn't right. Obviously,
Was it alcohol even?
yeah, I think it had some sort of scientific sort of. It wasn't like completely haphazard because
Okay.
it was a big op and it had been going for a while. But yeah, it was funny. It's like the cheapest brand in the UK, and they copied them.
I'd have to look that up and see how they work the con. You know.
yeah.
Glen vodka. Look it up if you want
Smart though, going for the cheap stuff.
to.
Volker with or without a C.
I mean, you would think you would try and fake the good stuff, but then you'll get caught.
Yeah, and it's mostly easier to sell as well to a lot of the corner shops.
Right.
Plus, nobody's like trying to taste it.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
people are just
And if it tastes like shit, it's good. Yeah, it's Glen vodka, isn't it?
Exactly.
brilliant.
This has the usual aroma of shit. This must be the real cheap stuff, not the fake
Yeah.
cheap stuff.
Right. Smart gig, man. I like it.
Based
Yeah,
Welshman,
it's,
since there's a break in the action, Mrs. Avidlip, it's her birthday tomorrow, and she was hoping
Happy
as her
birthday.
birthday as her birthday wish, she was hoping maybe you would reconsider getting the jib jab, and so you could be around for years to come. And
She's concerned for him.
No, fuck that, mate. But the other week you did say your wife was doing some sort of party tricks in the background. I might reconsider. No, I wouldn't.
Based Walshy, did you ever have the corona?
Well, this is the only disconcerting thing. I haven't been ill, and I haven't felt like I've had the corona. I haven't really been ill.
But your news story there said that people who had it would be far more protected. Are you considering going to like a mingle where there's a couple people who have the virus?
No,
might get it. You know, maybe.
No, I mean, I reckon I've had it. I live in a town. I shop in dingy shops. You know, I'm out every day. I never I got anything. I just went out. I just didn't really. You know, sometimes it was in the back of your brain, obviously. You know, but as a general rule of thumb, I just carried on as normal. The only difference I did was I washed my hands when I got in from outside. That was it. That's all I changed. But I think I've got the antibodies, and I was well up on my supplements. So hopefully, I think that helps.
Right.
Prior to the global pandemic, you really didn't wash your hands.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I mean, that's fine.
Not religiously, no.
Unless the poo was visible on his fingers.
That's you've seen that routine by what's that American comedian? He passed away. George Carlin. He did a routine about that.
Yeah.
Don't wash your hands. The only reason you wash your hands is if there's shit on them.
Yeah. Well, she's seen that one.
Are you glad you've had the cupcake, lads?
The what?
The
The
cupcake?
cupcake. The jib jab.
What cupcake?
Yeah.
Where is it? I'm fucking tired.
No problem.
Are you happy? I mean,
I've seen more long-term problems from people that have gotten it that didn't get than I have myself that got the
what?
that didn't get the cupcake and have some form of long-term COVID than myself that got the jib jab and have no signs of long-term anything.
Yeah. Do any of you regret getting it, lads? Good better question.
I don't regret it.
There was news this week. I don't know if you saw it, Welshman, obviously being in the UK, that one of the side effects is that your brain gets 2% smaller. Have you heard about that?
2%.
I haven't.
Yeah. It was on the news this week. It was one of the side effects.
Sounds like what happened to the Grinch.
Yeah, I was thinking the Grinch.
His brain shrunk 2 sizes too small.
Brain shrinks 2%. Apparently, it's one of the side effects, and over time, it will come back to normal size.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I have read that there's over 1,300 side effects that actually did come out on the Pfizer papers,
Right.
and over 1,300 deaths in 2 months.
I'd really like to see the science on how the vax shrinks your brain.
Yeah, I was just trying to look it up. Honestly, it was.
Or that there was 13.
British
I would
news.
like to see the facts that there was 1,300 deaths related to the vaccine.
Okay, I'll tell you that one. Oh wait,
I would
can't
like
tell
to
you.
see
I
that.
can't-
I'd love to see that.
Well, if someone wants to help me out here, if they put in Dr. John Campbell, go to the Pfizer. They'll say Pfizer documents from 3 days ago. Then go to description. Go to the description, and it'll be the Pfizer release there. They've had to release it. The judges fucking forced them to release the papers.
I don't feel like my brain shrunk 2% from taking the vaccine.
I did see that.
My Sudoku scores have stayed just level throughout COVID.
They haven't gone down 2%?
Nope.
Yeah, it's there, Aphid, mate. It's there. They've got evidence for the first 3 months of the year.
Does that compare to the how many million that have died?
Oh, dude. Join us, Greg. Mr.
Well,
Gregory.
I would suggest that's quite a lot of side effects. 1,300 side effects, and just the same amount of deaths. And when you compare it to other vaccines, they were pulling vaccines when 50 people died.
No kidding.
So-
No vaccines. No kidding. Anyways, look over here. Topple.
Yeah, but Welshman,
look at
I get what you're
Hadagar
saying.
is right below
Oh,
Topple.
he
But
got.
you got to remember that
Got a bigger penis.
The overall
Show
line
us, Topple.
was that it was for the greater good.
Oh,
They
for
knew
Christ's
there was
sake,
going to be
Rory,
bad
yeah.
effects, this, that, the other, but more people were going to be cured than people getting.
Project Fear.
Mm.
What's the movie, Topple? Little Princess?
He
Where's
meant to
Chris-
say
where's
his pens
Chris-
got bigger. He inserted an eye by accident.
Where's Biscuit, lads?
I
He's
don't know.
not here today.
He came back a few weeks ago for a brief brief appearance, but
Is he alright?
I think he
He
seemed
was good.
all right.
Seemed good when you saw him.
seemed good. Yeah, he's taking some time to do
Good
his
to hear.
thing.
Okay.
Here.
He's a good man.
Just out of interest, this is a bit of a curveball, but just out of interest, right? Smokesteve, you said, I think when you came on, it was about 6 o'clock where you are.
Yes, sir.
So just going in order then, Smokesteve, Last Dance, Aphid Lib, and Cypher. What different times are you operating it? What time is it now where you are? Each one of you.
I'm
Well,
Cypher,
Cypher last
Smokesteve, and myself are in the same time zone.
Same.
Eastern
you
Standard
are, right.
Time. Yeah.
And I'm an
So what
hour
time-
earlier.
What time is it there then?
It's
Now.
8:41 here,
exactly.
7:41 for Eighth and and
okay.
12:41 for you, mother truckers.
141.
Oh.
141.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget tonight we set the we go forward, don't we?
Yeah, dude, that's right. Tomorrow,
You do, yeah.
Spring
So-
forward.
If this
fall
pub
back.
stays on for another 3.5 hours, we'll be only 4 hours behind you.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys don't change, right? Leave?
Not until the 27th
Not
of March.
till the end of the month, yeah.
27th. Yeah, we learned that earlier.
Miss that.
So we'll have a few weeks of.
I didn't even know that you had a summertime change. I thought we were unique in that respect. But it was
God,
just
I
us.
hate that stupid thing.
No, it's better to keep it and not go back to what we are now.
Yeah.
I don't care what we do. Just stop changing every season. It's just so fucking
Now,
stupid.
what they need to do is keep it at daylight savings.
Okay.
There's a proposal right now in Massachusetts here for them to keep it as the daylight savings time, which would be the later of the ones, because people like a later evening and they don't care about darkness in the morning.
Yeah.
The rocket ships get really used up pushing the sun back an hour. And
That's so inefficient.
the top secret project.
Oh, we got to tow the sun again. Everybody put on your Kevlar and asbestos suits.
So, do any of you guys have new, like, smarter cars? Like, have they figured out the clock situation where you don't have to change it like you do with the old shit?
I think so.
Yeah.
No.
Mine is because I'm Sirius XM connected. I think they do the update.
Don't you don't have like a main clock in your car though that you have to change?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
mine's
mine,
updated.
but
Yeah,
Mine's
I
up
do.
to time.
my wife's car does it automatically. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, that's
I
what
don't,
I'm saying.
I don't think it does. I don't think my
That's worth upgrading alone.
A reason to get a new car.
Right.
new car around the clock.
I'm quite used to my clock being an hour out of date now. I just hour at a time. It just like spends 6 months an hour at a time, and then another 6 months on time.
It's the only way.
I tried to do it. It's all I did how to do it. I tried googling it. I couldn't
It's
find
the
it.
only time of year I'm ever on time to my appointments.
It's just a curveball every time you look at it. You're like, I don't know if it's right or not. Have any of you heard of the Florida representative? If I could carry on, she was speaking to a reporter about the no-fly zone. And the reporter asked her whether she would agree for no-fly zone, and she said, "Yeah, damn right." She said, "Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but he goes, but that's like a declaration of war, isn't it?" And she goes, "I don't know what it is." She's like, I don't know what it is.
She don't know what it is.
Oh, I didn't
You know what
remember
it
that.
is? He
I
said,
don't know
yeah,
what
but
it
I'll
is.
do that.
I
And
just
he
want
refreshed her. He sort of like totally refreshed her about it. And she
And it's
just
not
like,
just based. It's not just one member of Congress. It's like 30% of the Congress. They're so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Have you
They
seen
have
it?
no
Have you
idea
seen-
what it is.
Did you see the interview?
No, but I read about it.
It was fucking crazy.
Yes,
Honestly.
yes, it is.
And she admitted she was clueless. She fucking admitted that. She didn't know. She know what a no-fly zone will do, though. Didn't you? She was, well, I don't know. I don't. Oh, well, we've got to get him. It's like, what the fuck?
It sounds nice.
Smokesteve wanted to vote a president in that didn't know what Aleppo was.
Yeah, Gary
Well-
Johnson.
I mean, one Lepo or two.
Well,
Have you guys listened to any talk radio call-in shows since this whole Ukraine thing has gone on?
Talk what?
Like talk radio call-in.
What's a
shows
radio? What
where
are you
people-
talking about? What do you got,
It's great
vacuum
because these
tubes there?
The one guy will call in and be like, I don't think we should mess with any of this stuff. It's not our business. Let's stay out of it. And then the next guy's like, why don't we just bomb Moscow already and get over it?
And it's kind of scary when you hear radio calling shows. It's like, oh, we don't have a chance, do we?
Yes, we're not going to make it, are we?
This is the caliber. This is the caliber of fucking people.
I know.
We had Diane Abbott. She's a very famous MP in the UK.
I've heard of her.
Very famous of being called Diane Abacus because of her math skills, and she's just generally a stupid retard racist. But
You don't like her.
She said the other day.
Important to point out, Welchman, important to point out she's black as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I quote, she said, we can't have the Russians just rolling in to Croatia.
Oh, I think I remember that. That was funny.
Croatia. Fucking hell. It's not like South Africa, South America. Yeah, I understand why you might get the two confused and you sort of correct yourself. Croatia, though. I know it's in Europe, but fucking hell.
Yikes.
Maybe that's what happens when the brakes fail on the tank and you're going into Ukraine.
Yes, please. Oh dear.
I've seen some good strikes, mind you, on some of the tanks. Obviously, being Welsh, I always prefer the underdog when you see it face to face. And they've had some good hits with those javelins.
Yeah. I tell you, I see those, and when I was a younger man, I would have said, "Oh, awesome!" And now at my age, I'm thinking, they're just some poor soldiers getting killed. It's really a tragedy.
Yeah.
But you don't
When
eat
you look
meat,
like that.
so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, just following orders, aren't they? So
Yep, they're just cannon fodder to the leaders.
yeah. I noticed though. Do you remember me mentioning this bloody prison in the middle of Siberia?
I do.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
I watched that documentary, by the way.
It's good, isn't it? It's good, isn't it, Welshman? Yeah. But
I watched it a while back, but how you described it is exactly how it is. It's the most grimmest place in the world. It's the middle of fucking nowhere. The prisoners are just subdued to fuck. They're just literally just walking and breathing.
But this week, mate, they admitted they were saying that, and why wouldn't you as well? By the way, that a lot
I'm
of
calling the police on you, Smokesteve.
a lot of the first amount of soldiers going into Ukraine are from that bloody prison, mate. And they're like, yeah, we don't care if we die, we'll go and fight. And if they sort of survive the war, it's like a pardon. So these are some of the most dangerous nutters that you can believe in the world.
I'm sure they won't commit any more crimes.
Well. They look disturbed, but you think, are they disturbed because they've spent 5 years in this place or 1 year in this place, or were they disturbed? They all look disturbed.
Yeah, they do. Very true.
There's a good documentary on Netflix if you guys got it. It's 2014 Ukraine. I think it's called Winter of Fire or something like that. But it's
I was talking about that last week.
Oh, were you? Yeah, that's it's all, pretty much all what do you call it? Closed caption or
Propaganda.
What's it called?
No.
What's it called? I'll make a note of that.
Netflix not giving propaganda
Winter
now.
on Fire. Winter on Fire.
Winter, yeah, it's something like that. It's really good though. We watched it
propaganda
last
now.
Sunday, I think.
Oh shit!
It's not propaganda.
Our old buddy.
Hey
Oh,
man.
there he is.
Yeah. He better not be locked down.
No, I think they are. They're like
Wow.
Is
COVID's
it surging there?
Yeah, it is.
No.
In certain areas, it's like, well, I mean, to the surgeon there is like they have like 2 cases and like
I
everybody
heard
goes
about
crazy.
a 5
Yeah, there's
million
serious lockdown. There's some,
population.
yeah,
I mean, out of billions plus,
yeah.
billion 6, 4, 5, I don't know,
But
5
there-
billion. I mean, but
There
it's
are 4
a lot of
lights. Give
people.
us a boots on the ground assessment of what's going on there, buddy.
Wait, what just happened?
I think base left and came back on.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't, but I had the same treatment as you. We all went down for a split second.
No,
All
I was
come back
only-
up.
Okay.
we were up.
I don't go down on anybody.
Now, yeah,
I need medicine to get up.
I set the settings on this. If anyone gets too inflammatory, it automatically goes out in the bot. I have the bot set to.
Oh, you got
That's
the
a
bot
pretty
on
good
there.
bot you got there.
Yeah, the bot watches Space Welshman like a hawk.
Yeah.
The bot comes for us all.
Whoever needs medicine to get it up, that was made for angina, by the way, Aphid.
Oh,
Drugs do different things sometimes. Right?
yeah.
Sandy angina.
Did you know her?
Oh,
It's funny that today, I was in my local town today, and part of me feels like maybe Putin's got a point, but
Is that what you call him, Putin?
They all do.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
What
all
the
them
fuck is
Brits.
that? Putin?
It's
How do you know how it's pronounced?
How do you pronounce
It's
it?
called football. It's called football, not soccer.
Putin.
It's
Putin.
it's PYU. It's PYUTIN.
Unless you pronounce it the way the Russians pronounce it, it's up for grabs. It's
like
any other way.
Aluminium. I mean, it's the way the user
Aluminum, isn't it? You call it.
Kiev.
Yeah,
Kid
yeah.
Kiev. How can you change it? How can you change the name of a capital in like, I don't know, 4 weeks?
Yeah, that was
What's the capital we changed?
Kyiv.
Kyiv.
We know it's Kiev.
No, I think it happened around the time that Trump made that beautiful phone call. Is about the time that people started changing the name
There's
of
two
it.
V's.
Was that a Zelensky? Was that a Zelensky? Was it?
Yeah, it was a perfect. It was a perfect phone call.
That puppet. Yeah. You know he's a coke addict, do you? You know Zelensky's a massive coke addict.
He's a good speechwriter, I'll tell you that.
he's
Seen
an
those
actor.
claims,
He's an
and there's no
actor,
evidence
should
of it.
I was just saying that I met this couple in the town today, and they were from the Ukraine. And they were saying that luckily they had a rented property in the UK because the husband was English, but the wife was Ukraine. Which the people that were renting their house had just moved out. Good timing for sure.
Yeah.
And it was interesting that I suppose it really hit home talking to them because she said, we managed to get out. We've had to flee. We've left everything, absolutely, our jobs, all their property that's there. And she said, only last night I was talking to my mum because my mum's not prepared to leave, and the whole village was shelled. And I suppose that really hit home. I just thought, although I'm in agreement to a degree with Putin, not completely. I thought, well, yeah, gosh, that really brought it home that I was talking to somebody.
The reality of war. The reality of war.
Yeah.
No. Let's let's go back to your coke addict thing. Like, I mean, come on, guy. What, you're just gonna throw that out there? He's a cocaine addict?
Right. If you put in Zelensky cocaine, have a look at the video that comes up. It was 6 days ago. I watched it live. I've spent enough of my life around that sort of thing to know when a guy's on cocaine. I watched it live, or I watched it when it happened, and as far as I was concerned, that was cocaine. And
Why should I care if he uses cocaine?
Right.
Well, at a press conference.
May he enjoy it in
at
peace.
a press conference. You're fucking mad, you mean?
Now you're trying to tell me that And you're
Put it in YouTube. Put it in YouTube.
Well,
Please
how
put
about
it in YouTube.
wait,
That
Base
happened 6
Welshman?
days ago.
Put in YouTube. The Earth is flat. You'll blow your mind.
God.
now you're trying to tell me
Are
that
you saying it's not flat?
It'll
Well,
blow
what it
your
was, I was
mind.
watching a video. I was watching a video on YouTube this morning, and the guy on there said he's a massive cokehead. And I thought, I've seen video of him the other day, and the first thing I thought of, that's cocaine. So I YouTubed just his name and cocaine, and up comes this clip, and he's sniffing like fuck. And it's the same clip that I seen 6 days ago.
all
and
right,
it's
all right. So you're saying, from what you've come up with, you watching him
Sniff.
and taking the advice from some other YouTubers.
Well, I thought
devised that he is
sniffing.
on cocaine.
You can tell by looking at him.
You can ridicule
That is
me
your
as much as you
assessment.
like. He is not the person you're thinking he is, right? And I thought, well, I've
He's
seen him.
no
sniff
Mother
like that the other
Teresa.
day.
Oh, come
That's
on
a coke
now.
sniff if I've ever seen it. Then someone mentions it in a video this morning, and then I fucking just YouTubed it up. And here we are from 6 days ago when I watched it. Have a look at it.
What?
Tell me what you think.
It's not possible he had a cold.
He had a cold. He's also being invaded
got
by
COVID.
How about if I
lying country that's trying to kill him? And he
Yeah,
might
if I
be
had to
under
stay up for
stress.
24 hours a day, I'd be
If
taking
you'd have
some
said
coke, too.
if you'd have said he's a comedian, would you have believed me?
No, I knew he was a comedian. I've
No,
seen his
if I
blog
said he was
videos.
an actor, would you have believed me?
Well, I've already seen
What
the
happens if I
videos.
said he went
But you couldn't you say
strictly from
that
dancing?
if
Would you believe me?
if
I
I told
say
you
he's a
he
space
was
alien, I won't believe you. So I
right.
won't believe everything you say.
if he was once a female, do you believe me? You know, I mean,
Well,
you
he
can go on and on and on.
played president of the Ukraine in one of the most popular series going in recent years. All these things, it's just
Yeah, I already knew all of that. I mean,
Yeah, no, but would you have believed if you didn't know? Would have I said this guy was a comedian? You'd have said no. No.
Why would I?
I don't know.
I don't
I can't really put myself there, but I do think that Russia is attacking that country, and I do think they're
they are
causing a
I'm not
lot of
disagreeing with
damage.
See, I do believe you, Dice Welshman. I just can't care
Right.
whether he's a coke addict or not. I mean, why should I care?
I mean, he might or might not be, but that doesn't really affect. I don't think he.
I mean,
is, in all honesty.
do you have much criticism for the job he's done so far?
Me, myself, or him?
Baseball.
Yeah, I think he's dangerous. I think he's really dangerous.
You think he's dangerous?
Yeah.
Yep.
In what way?
Massively dangerous.
When
Massively dangerous?
I think when somebody knows the consequences of having a no-fly zone, and yet he wants it, and he keeps putting pressure on the European countries to put it into force. That's dangerous. Yeah.
He's a little shit country. He's not going to be able to put any pressure on nobody.
I was very relieved when I heard your president say, was it yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
Lee,
we are not getting involved. As in, we're not putting troops in the ground, and we're not putting fly zone in.
Lee, if you were in his shoes, you would ask for a no-fly zone
exactly.
too. And you're right that we should never even. I don't care how much pressure he puts on. Nobody in power is going to.
He's calling for it constantly. I mean,
I don't care.
What he said the other day. What he said the other day. It's all well and good. The Western countries giving us, support and stuff, but unless we have a no-fly zone, he said,
What's he gonna say? He's in a no winnable situation.
That's a switch for World War III, isn't it? That's a switch for World War III straight away. As soon as an American pilot,
for him, it is World War III.
That is it. Hey, Fizz, that is it. Don't laugh. That's it. As soon as an American pilot takes out a Russian pilot, that's it. Okay?
That's not going to happen.
You're saying it like I don't know that.
You're coming up with fantasy scenarios.
I'm not.
It's not going to happen. No,
of course not.
No.
And he is in World War III.
And
bombs are falling on his country. So it's up to.
I'm not going to go so far as to say it will never happen because I don't know where this is going to lead. But I will say if it does happen, it's not going to be because of something Zelensky said.
No, of course not.
Like there's a
I just don't like his rhetoric sometimes because I just think, you've got a good point. I didn't think about that. I'll admit that. Yeah, what else is he going to say? Very true. But the fact that he keeps trying to promote it constantly is just like, look, it's not going to happen. So just shut up about it because we're not going to risk the whole of.
What were you going to say, Steve?
Well, what I was going to say was, on a greater theme, there's a great conversation that goes on in a relationship between the United States and Russia. I think that is above and supersedes everything that's going on right now.
Damn right.
Right. So, like, with all due respect, I think that this thing is small potatoes, and they're trying to just sort of sting Russia where it hurts, but also leave a open path for dialect and business.
Leave an exit.
Open. There needs to be a relationship here, and it's like they're trying to release all these press things and we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this to Russia. But what we all are realizing is that we're still buying a lot of stuff from them, but it's not impossible for us to cut ourselves off, but it is impossible to completely cut ourselves off.
Steve, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Russia, irrespective of everything that's happened at the moment, is going to win this conflict, this invasion? Do you think they're going to win it?
Well, it depends on the definition of win.
Exactly.
Well, take the capital, take half of the country. Do you think that they're capable of doing it?
Oh, they're very capable of it.
Yeah.
I think they're capable, but
so my point is then, if you know ultimately they're going to win, no matter how much resistance.
Well, I didn't answer you.
Oh yeah, go on then.
I can't answer for Putin. I don't know where he is going to cut off. That's the scary thing here. Like, what's going to happen with his decision making and how far he's going to go? It's not really something I don't think anybody can measure. So then how do you calculate a win, at least by your definition? How does that?
I think he's dead.
Oh, he did stop moving, unless he's really good at staying still.
Looks like he's got a smoke ring permanently there.
People saying he's mad. He's not mad.
Now, he was just about to give me some kick-ass answer, but it froze up on the first
That's you censoring him.
syllable. Yeah, right. I hit him with the hammer. Wow, poor bastard just froze up.
That's
He'll
a
X
shame.
himself out and start up again.
Certainly, if you
goes.
look at troops and equipment, I think there's no comparison between Russia's military and Ukraine's.
Yeah,
There's no comparison. There would be nothing to stop him from taking Kiev, because if he wanted to, he could just flatten the city without much resistance. But it doesn't mean he won't suffer casualties if he goes in with armor. And he's got to be hesitating to commit to that kind of bloodbath. On both directions, for him and his Ukrainian citizens.
Well,
any other modern war, they used to go for like communications, electric, infrastructure. First 24 hours, you'd see Baghdad get blown to smithereens, like everything, all those certain targets. Yeah, he hasn't done that at all.
Not yet.
True.
No,
Nathan,
he doesn't want to.
I was gonna ask last night. Yeah, did we win the Afghanistan war?
What do you mean win?
Well, I mean, if somebody,
exactly.
yeah,
What is
okay. So
But
it's
like,
not like
right,
Afghanistan is
Iraq-
a more powerful country than we are. I mean, so
Oh, yeah,
it's a similar situation you got here. Are they
So
gonna?
it does depend on how you define win, right?
Right.
He's certainly never going to pacify Ukraine, no matter whether he occupies 100% of it. But he certainly can, he can topple the government and destroy the armed forces and all that stuff, and kill tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians, just like he leveled Grozny in Chechnya. So who knows? Who knows? Who can dare say they can read Putin's mind? Nobody, except Smokesteve.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I put Lee on the stream, but his picture didn't come up.
Yeah. I think I remember what he looks like.
Yeah, what is it Lee or Joe, the English kid?
Lee.
Is it Lee? My eyes are terrible. I can't fucking see the screen. What he's got to do is when he comes back on, is don't put his camera on, because it'll concentrate on his audio rather than the camera and the audio. He's struggling. So I'll put it in the back chat. It's Lee, is it?
Yeah, it's funny. Normally he has no. Normally his internet seems good enough for his video and his audio, but then it just cuts out to nothing. Boom.
So, Lee, if you're listening in, mate, don't put your camera up. Just do the audio. Go no camera. It'll give you a better chance of getting a stronger reception.
Who made big profits out of U.S. wars?
That's boring.
Oh yeah.
Halliburton.
Well, look, anyone who makes military stuff
Anybody,
makes
right?
money.
Anybody who makes weapons will make money out of wars.
Or
Yeah.
MREs.
MREs,
And they've
right?
got to replace them. They got sell-by dates on these, so they've got to replace them. It's time to replace.
Yeah, those things, man. They
Those
make
are
an MRE for a guy that's a 24-hour one would be like 2 to 2.5 pounds. So for every soldier, you have to have, let's just say, 2 pounds a day.
uh-huh.
Then you start doing the work with the math and the logistics. God almighty. It's a fucking feat to bring all that, even just the MRE bags that they heat up themselves. Then you start out a cooking if they're going to have real meals for a few nights a week. Gosh, there's a lot there, man.
You know what? It was funny. Some of these Russian troops that were captured early on, they were apparently like starving.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you what, I don't believe anything I see in these early in the war.
No, it's all
a lot of this.
fucked up right
It's
now.
all. A lot of it is bullshit. It's made up.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see that on
But
the
it-
news, or did you see that on the internet?
It's all the same, isn't it?
I saw. Yeah, I mean, I saw it on an internet.
Because
Video,
it's a-
YouTube video.
Just a heads up, it's against the Geneva Convention
Yes,
to
I saw that.
parade prisoners
It's
on
appalling.
telly, and
I don't know.
this has been going on mainstream media throughout the world.
Isn't it amazing? And they don't even mention that this violates the Geneva Convention.
Remember Saddam used to do it. Remember Saddam Hussein used to do it.
Yeah,
No different to them. This is what I mean about the narrative. It's disgusting.
it's not the worst violation of the Geneva Convention. I mean,
No,
it's still a violation, and you shouldn't do it. But it's not
Yeah, but
as bad as torturing prisoners.
What's the difference between Saddam Hussein doing it to what they're doing? It's just no
There's
difference.
no difference at all. It's
Well,
the same exact same thing.
the Ba'athist, methodology was some of the most brutal in the world.
right. So
That was
what he's
a
saying
little
is
bit more than the
a-
Ukrainian
it's-
situation.
Well, he's
better
talking just
than-
about putting them on TV.
right.
Okay,
It's
fine.
better than breaking people's ankles or shooting them. in the head.
Exactly. There are far worse violations,
Yeah,
but still.
but the
it's-
mainstream media shouldn't be showing these videos.
Exactly. Or at the very least, they should say, this is a violation of the Geneva Conventions.
Right.
They don't, I mean, it's news to them. They can show anything
just
they get their
promote it.
hands
They
on.
just promote it. That's right. That's all they do, though. Like you said, they should say that. If they said that, I would you'd think about it. As a viewer, you'd think, yeah, you're right here. And it's
Exactly. It would be
But they just-
educational
yeah.
as well in terms of
Yeah.
rules of war and not just what's on the video.
Someone told me it was against the Geneva Convention. I checked it up, and it was. And I thought, yeah, fuck me, yeah. And I'm seeing it.
Now, do you really think it matters that people should be obligated to feed their enemy forces when they capture them?
Of course
Of
they should.
course. Absolutely.
Well, why shouldn't they just have shot them on the battlefield then?
Because it's a
Well,
war
you
crime,
can't-
and
That's
part of.
it's a war crime. That's murder.
So
I mean-
if they're coming at you with rifles, it's okay to shoot them.
Yeah.
The second
it
they
is
drop
okay
the
to shoot.
rifles, you have to
Yeah,
take them in.
as soon as they
Exactly.
surrender, as soon as
That
you
is the law of war.
that's it then, isn't it? Game on.
No, I mean, fuck that. Just shoot the motherfuckers.
Hey,
I mean,
Paul Greystone, do you have a link to that last
Paul
entry you
Greystone.
made?
There's obviously a grey. There's obviously a grey
Side-
area, Steve,
He's
where
not side-
obviously, but
say-
you know,
Something
I-
about Obama.
I mean, Smokesteve,
It's interesting.
there are people that say that the laws of war only make war easier to wage. But I think it's generally, I mean, even the Nazis claimed, and to a certain extent did, obey the laws of war.
Yeah, I know.
Until the
My
end.
uncle, like I talked about earlier, was brought
Yeah.
taken prisoner by the Nazis.
So I guess
agree.
here's why I like the laws of war, because it makes peace easier to achieve. And ultimately, the goal of war is to be over and have peace. And if you committed war crimes, it's hard for anybody to accept a peace. So obeying the laws of war, treating your prisoners well, all that stuff helps the peace go more smoothly and helps a warm peace occur.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Lee,
Steve, I was just quickly. Sorry, the internet's really playing up tonight. But
go off camera. Go off camera. You'll get better reception.
Yeah,
Drop the camera.
I might try that actually. Yeah,
He's
but
very handsome.
what I was alluding to when I was saying about do you think they'll ultimately win was that do you not think that if they weren't armed, I think I've made this point before, to the degree that they are, then it would be quicker. The result would be quicker because there's not so much resistance, and they're going to have to sit around the table and talk eventually anyway. So I just feel that sometimes innocent people are being killed senselessly because they think they've got a chance of winning. They're not going to win this. You know?
I suspect that what you're suggesting is the best course of action is for the side that's obviously going to lose to just surrender without loss of life. And there's a definite advantage to that.
Yeah.
But the people that are being invaded, they a lot of them think they'll just fight to the death, and they're glad to die in the cause of it.
I think some pretty frantic diplomatic efforts are ongoing. Everybody wants this to get resolved, and I mean, of course, you got this one hammerhead who's just pushing it. I mean,
there were. I'm sorry for this. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was done.
Yeah, there were some early on in the war. There was like a bunch of people grabbed Molotov cocktails and started throwing it at the Russian tanks. Well, the whole bunch of those that happened all over the country. A whole bunch of those people were just shot dead by the Russians, just like that. And there are people who are willing to lose their life to defend their country, even when it seems almost hopeless.
Ukrainians are pretty nationalistic and ferocious.
Here's what I hope. Yes, that's right. No, I'm sorry, Cypher. I keep interrupting you.
No,
I keep interrupting you.
Go ahead.
I actually hope that the fact that they're so determined to defend themselves will cause Russia to stop and not go into Kiev. And I don't know what the agreement will be, but I sure hope that they don't go into Kiev. Or Kiev.
I don't see that as the result. I see that they're going to be somewhat tactful, possibly, and try to avert from the
tactful or tactical.
I'm trying to avoid civilian casualties. Yeah. I think that's what I think that would be tactful. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, but our problem is I think the civilians are going to attack Russian troops. I think.
Yeah, right. So that might end up happening.
It's not just going to be the armed forces of the Ukraine. I think it's going to be people taking pot shots from their windows and throwing Molotov cocktails, and it's just going to be brutal.
I hate to see it all. It surprised me, all of us, I think, that he actually invaded. We were talking about whether he would do it, and we're going, no, he won't. It's all saber rattling, and next thing you know,
I was surprised too.
Yeah.
It's very shocking.
Well, I do. I tell you, he did. Even if he takes over Ukraine, he will have lost. He might have won the battle, but he'll have lost the war because all those other countries will be.
Going to be.
They want to get into NATO. They will double their defense budgets. Maybe even Sweden and Finland will. Increase their cooperation with NATO, if not actually join. I think it's all going to backfire on him if it hasn't already, in an enormous way.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, the whole world. I think almost all of his assets are frozen in most of the first world Western countries. All the Russian assets are frozen.
Yeah, I mean, he'll pivot to the east with that. He'll work with China.
Yeah, I did see an article that was saying that most of the real, alienation is coming from the Western world, whereas, the Pacific Rim and the Middle Eastern, not so much.
Right.
What do you think, guys? Should we get this thing wrapped up tonight?
It's up to you. I'm good to go either way.
It was a placid show that was very good, better than the toxic stuff.
I hear you.
Nice one, chaps.
Great having you based.
Great having you, buddy. Yeah, always. I mean, I can keep it going here and just end the live. Or
That sounds good.
No, I'm gonna go. I really am. I took a couple of about 19% THC at 90 milligrams. It can't be that much. It's a lot, and edible. And the edibles really like
gummies or chocolates.
It was gummies this time. Yeah.
Gummies, yeah.
I've got chocolates and I've got cookies and I got home.
Gotta be careful with those chocolates, George. Those things taste real nice.
Yeah, gotta. It's a temptation to put about 4 or 5 in there.
Exactly.
Cypher, can you grow in your state, Cypher?
No, not unless it's for medical. There might be an allowance for small amounts. I don't know. I don't know enough about the laws.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being funny. A tiny garden, if it's legal in your state, be ideal for someone like yourself. You can grow.
I live in a flat, a condo, or a flat, so I can't. I don't never. I mean, I don't.
You can get them like 40 centimeters wide.
Does he look like a gardener?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good hobby.
I'm not a gardener. I know how to microwave a potato.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Topple says he's toxic. We know that.
Yeah,
I love you anyway.
Yes, he is. So am I. I'll leave that alone. I better shut up and get out of here. Okay, guys. I'm out.
Great. It was great seeing you, Cypher.
Like Cypher.
Take care.
Good night, everybody. Night sidebar bowl. Yep. Good night.
We had 4. There are only 4 lights. There are 4 lights. He's been on this. He's the guy from China, right?
Yeah.
The Brit in China.
He had his kid on once.
Yep.
He was drinking beers in the morning, and now he's.
For him, it's the morning, right? It's like getting up in the morning. When
It 9 o'clock, probably 11 hours ahead of me and you. So
when he says he's sleeping off a hangover, he really means he's like it's an extended morning sleeping off.
Right.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, 11, who knows when? But yeah.
Yep.
He's in mainland China, so we could look that up fairly easily. But just check my emails here. All right, we're looking good. All right. Yeah. Oh, look. He says maybe he'll join now.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. He and Cypher have been getting into it on Discord, so maybe he just didn't want to.
I don't think so. I think they
make up?
They had a little thing last week, right?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to these back and forths.
You saw it. You were right there.
I mean, I glance at it. It's just usually...
It was
exactly.
That was it. It's toxic.
I mean, Topple is sensitive. Now that'll get him. I'll goad him on.
Right, there's
10:16. Oh, that's late.
13 hours ahead from us.
Yep.
Damn, crazy.
See, that's the thing about a Sunday morning is you get to sleep in if you feel like you need it without feeling guilty.
Yeah, but I would even be up. I'll be up by 8 tomorrow, and that's my biggest sleeping of the week.
Wow.
What are you, like an 11 a.m. guy?
No, I get up at 6, 7 in the morning. But if I always try to go back to sleep after I wake up, in the morning.
Yes.
Normally I can't do it and I give up. But if I can, I'll do it. I'll take it out to wherever, I don't have an alarm clock. There's no reason for me to wake up. I just go whenever my eyes open.
I got up at 3 a.m. today.
Yeah, you're spooky. You're like triple type A.
Yeah,
I tried going back to sleep. I watched
Hey, look who it
Gattaca.
is.
Hey, Topple, toxic
Come on,
Topple. Toxic Topple. Hey, man.
Oh, look,
Toxic
he's in the executive chair tonight.
What does he have a roach in his ear?
And he's dressed.
There's my ear pods.
Oh, okay.
AirPods.
What do you got? You got a turtleneck on?
Stopping by. No, it's my mask.
That's your gator. That's what they call it, right?
My gator.
What do
I
you
never
get
heard
that
that.
How
on?
y'all doing?
You keep that on at your house?
I get so used to it. I'm in and out, so I just wear it. Keeps my neck warm. Makes me feel better about myself.
Hides all the hickeys from all his girlfriends, from his wife.
Yeah, right.
From all those dudes.
How you doing, Topple?
I'm all right.
Good. Good to hear.
I was just stopping in to say hello. How's
Hello,
everybody?
buddy.
How do you do?
Very good, man.
Did you guys
About
get
that,
Did you guys get a snowstorm? We got a snowstorm here in Maryland.
got a couple inches. Ice storm a little bit though.
Yeah.
We did earlier the week,
But-
or two days ago, I guess.
I mean, it's depressing
it's
because it was like
typical.
60 yesterday.
70 degrees. We had 70 degrees this week, and then it snows. So
Yep, it's depressing.
I think that's it, though. I really do. I think this is the last of it.
I hope so.
Who's this?
Because we always get it like a day
Yeah, the
before you
show.
guys all get it.
Yeah, I always hear from my sister about what's coming my way.
She's still up in Chi-Town.
Yeah, well, she lives in a suburb north of the city, but yeah, basically.
That's all Chicago. It's just like I say I'm from St. Louis. I'm not from St. Louis.
Right.
Yeah,
Because I'm so proud. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of St. Louis.
There's so much to be proud of. Chicago too. Such a beautiful,
Chicago.
safe, peaceful place.
Chicago gets a bad rap. There's like 5% of Chicago that's just horrible.
That's
The rest
true.
of Chicago is
it's
pretty
every
nice.
city.
Right, and you
Well,
never have
I don't
to.
know. St.
every
Louis
city.
is pretty much half of it sucks really bad.
Oh, Philadelphia is like a quarter too.
Well, Philadelphia ain't no. It's not much to bark about there.
Oh yeah, Philly sucks, man.
Philly sucks.
Have any of you been there before?
I have.
No, I have never been there.
Never.
Oh.
I've been to Hershey. Does that count?
No, that's not even close.
My
Have any
brother-in-law.
of you been to Camden?
Camden Yards.
Like I said, I've been to the Amtrak
Camden,
station
New
there.
Well,
You
I
hear me?
might,
Oh,
Do you hear me talking about it?
I might have went through
no.
on a road trip.
We were talking about.
Camden is kind of like Philadelphia, so
Yeah, well, we were talking. Base Welshman was bringing up a doctor named John Campbell, and Smokesteve was making a Campbell soup joke, and I said, "Yeah, they're headquartered in Camden." And I said, "I remember,
yep.
I took a train. I was taking a train up to Princeton, and it stopped at Camden. And I looked out the window, and I was like, my God, that's the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. Did I just take a trip to a World War II bombed out city?"
When was this though? What was this? What year?
Oh, it was probably 1999, 1990.
Okay,
18.
okay.
Before you were
1890.
born, probably.
No, I was born in '86, so
It might have been 87, actually, now that I think about it. A 1-year-old Topple was crying from
86. God,
That's when I actually had a working brain.
you're born like 4 years before I graduated high school.
Wow. We're all
I
feeling
have older kids than you. You're a kid.
Yeah, you do.
What class were you? Ethan?
91.
No kidding. I was 94.
94.
2005.
Oh, I almost said Mrs. Lift's real name. She was 93.
And Last Dance, what were you? 61?
Class of 1980.
1980.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So
In
you were
the old
born
black
around
and white days.
1960.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There were no trans people then.
Oh wow, look at you, anti-trans man.
No, I
You
don't.
guys only had 2 bathrooms.
I don't exactly.
Right.
Wasn't that
And I used them both.
It was
The
legit
Halloween,
too. No handicap.
That's not tranny.
What is?
What's that Halloween thing that comes around? Transylvania or where the hell it is?
Transylvania, yeah.
Is that tranny or is that just a spoof?
That's Dracula, dude.
That predates the. Yeah.
Dracula, dude.
Trolling.
That's all right. It's a Dracula thing, but not. It's
Drac-
not.
No. God damn, what was it called?
It's not
I don't know.
Transylvania.
It's where
Trans-
people throw
Transvestite, I
tomatoes
think.
at the play. See,
Oh,
I'm trying to talk old shit. So
that movie that everybody goes to and they throw rice at the wedding scene.
Yeah.
The
Great Rocky Horror Picture
Rocky
Show.
Horror Picture Show.
yes. Is that supposed to be a spoof or?
Oh, it's
No, it's not a
I don't
spoof.
know.
What do you mean
It's
a
not a
spoof?
spoof. It's kind of there are comedic elements to it, but it's
I
kind of
mean, it's what you would call an altered reality.
there, guy. That's what I would say.
They would just kind of present this goofy reality to you, and you go along with it. Where they stupid songs and right? I mean, it's
Yeah, it was. Let's say it was an immersive experience.
exactly.
Almost similar to like the British comedy Life of
Python?
Brian and
Yeah,
Monty Python. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one
All
called? One Fag, Two Fag?
What? That's gonna get us. You're lucky. It's 3 hours and 24 minutes
No,
into
I
the
was
show.
talking about cigarettes.
Let me tell you something. The bots never get tired of watching the video.
I guess not. We'll see. That's a run. We're trying it out.
It's a test
So-
experiment.
Topple, what's? Oh, Mrs. Topple's talking to Topple. I think.
Uh-oh.
What's?
What's up?
You're gonna watch Ozark tonight, or you already started? it?
Yes.
Is
No,
that
no.
worth?
Well,
Did you start it, or are you like in the middle of it?
The new season. No, we
Oh, because
finished up till this
we
season.
haven't started it, and we were thought about like getting into it. Is it pretty good?
I liked it. I really do. Did you like Breaking Bad by any chance?
No, I never got into that either.
No.
I thought
Well,
it was fantastic.
start it. What's the worst can happen?
Yeah. I heard the
Cheers,
beginning
Steve.
of Ozark isn't all that great, but it gets better and better. as time
No,
goes
that's what I was gonna say. Like Breaking Bad, like the first couple episodes, you're like, then it start moving. So
Ooh, Jackie Blue.
on. We're watching a show called Severance on Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever the hell it's called right now. That's kind of interesting.
Anyone watching that show? Euphoria?
What's it on?
I heard about
Sure.
that.
Huh?
But there's a porno star who's an actress in it.
Okay.
Yes.
Chloe Sherry is.
You
her
got my
name.
attention?
Chloe Sherry.
Do you know
What-
what I watched for the very first time? I've never watched it before. And
What did you watch?
And shame on me, I guess. But for the very first time last night, as in yesterday night, I watched The Magnificent Seven. And I really enjoyed it. Your Brinner. Great film. I don't know if you've watched it, but
I've seen it.
Seen
it's
it a
based
long
on.
time ago.
Isn't it a book that was Seven Samurai? It was based on.
Very good.
Yeah, so I thought I should watch this. I've heard a lot about it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. You know, for its time, of course. So
Very good.
yeah.
I watched Gattaca again this morning because like
That's a
last night
great
said
film.
he tries to go to sleep, and I was like, it was like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and I was like, if I watch something on TV, I'll fall asleep. But I had seen it already, but I saw it when it came out, which I saw it was like 97 or 98 or something when it came out.
Oh God, is
I
that what
can't
it was?
believe it's that old.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hadn't seen it since then, and I was watching it. It was pretty good, and I
Yeah.
never fell back asleep. I did take a nap around like 11 or something this afternoon. Thank God.
I've been watching Space Force. Netflix.
Oh, I've been wanting to check that out too. Is it worth it, or
Is it
It's
good?
pretty darn funny. I really
Is it?
enjoy it. Yeah.
I might check that out.
All right, you guys
Space
have a
Force.
wonderful week.
Yeah.
It was good seeing you guys.
All right, see you, Topple.
Hey,
See you,
great
man.
seeing you,
Yeah,
Topple.
Topple.
See you,
Take
Top.
care, man.
Later, buddy.
Guy's a rock star. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah,
Oh man, we might as well just shut the show down now.
I know exactly.
All right, sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I got cleaning to do.
All right, so I'm just
And
gonna.
I should go to bed. It's 2:30 here, so geez, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead
Cool.
and shut her down, but I'm gonna leave it open here, and I'll come back in a few minutes. And but everyone who's watching, there are 4 lights: cup of tea, Smokesteve, wife. I'll see you in 45 seconds. But yeah, everybody, Paul Greystone, anyone else who's out here that I'm missing. Topple was here; he's in the chat. Everybody, you're great. We're gonna keep it going offline, but Thank you, YouTube. And good night.
Good night.
He's not keeping it going. He's just gonna leave and he's not gonna
No,
come back.
no, I'm keeping it going.
That's what he calls keeping it going.
Well, I think if I just end broadcast and don't touch anything, we're good.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're not coming back.
Oh, I'll come back.
You think?
I might be hammered, but I'm kind of hammered.
Shut up, David. Let him do what he's going to do and stop trying to make him feel guilty.
All right. Well, what? Do you want to stay on? We can keep it going.
No,
I'll just keep it live. You want to run the show?
I told
Hey, do
you
you have
should've-
something set up, dude?
You should have shut up, Ethan.
No,
Look,
I was
told
gonna.
you.
I was gonna do a Yersay because nobody's done a Yersay. I thought
You have a Yersay set up? I'll leave it live.
no. No, cut it off because I'd rather talk about this off YouTube.
Yeah, do a Yersay.
If you're going to talk about something off YouTube, then I'll
Yeah,
stay.
I'd rather. This is more off YouTube topic, so let me know when you shut it down.
You could see the number in the upper left-hand corner. When
Good
that goes
night.
away, it's down.
Hey, before